Hello, love wrestling. It's Thursday night. It's 8 p.m. And you know what that means. It's another new episode of Between Two Beards.
Can we start off with the biggest news of the week? The Rats lost! If you've got the budget, I've got the time.
There he is.
Hey, boss!
There's the boss.
Hey!
The man with the finest beard on this screen.
Canadian men, boys, shut the hell up. Let me talk.
You see, the Rads are resourceful. When I got beef with somebody, I can find a way to talk to them.
Listen between two beers.
Getting down. Hello, love wrestling. It is Thursday night, and it is 8 p.m. And you know what that means, Pluggo. Episode 199.
We've heard that song at least 199 times.
Yes, we have. It's a banger, man. Still, every time it's a banger, dude.
We haven't got rid of it yet.
It is Between Two Beards. We are here. Ophelia Culp already in the chat. Thank you all for rolling in.
Yeah, I saw Culp today at my shoot job and bullied him into being in the comments section. I said, you ain't been here in a while. What are you doing?
There we go.
So what's up, Culp?
But we're not going to beat around the bush tonight, friends. We have a couple pals joining us right at the top, Pluggo. Why don't you introduce them, and I will hit the button, and we'll get them both on screen, huh?
We're jam-packed. As we talked last week, Adam Bernard is here tonight. He's here. We got it happening. So he's in the house of screener. And then we got Joey Karni coming in as well. We're just going to blow the budget the week before the big 200. What's up, guys?
What's up, dudes? Thanks for having me, and thanks for your patience.
Oh, no problem. Thank you. Health is number one, dude. I know you were having problems, and you want to make sure you're good, so I'm glad you could make it. What's happening?
Man, it's an exciting Thursday night here in Greater Philadelphia. I appreciate your having me here. Joey Karni is the real star of the show here. Which freaking way am I pointing?
I don't.
That way. You did.
That's true.
Joey's the real star of the show, guys. Yeah, that's who you want to talk to.
If we were going to do a power ranking in the chat, I think Joey would be number one. I'd be a solid 4, maybe 5 behind somebody in the chat, but I love it.
Joey, how are we, my friend?
What's going on, guys? Appreciate you having me on. I'm glad everybody's well, and Adam, I'm very glad you're well in here. So it should be a fun time.
Yeah, it should be a fun time. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't too long ago that the 4 of us were all at the Royal Rumble.
At the official kickoff to the road to WrestleMania.
Yes, and a lot has happened since we saw each other.
Yes, sir.
A lot has happened.
Too much.
So
Did something big happen? Did I miss something?
I think so. I think a little while. We still haven't heard from the person that it's happened from. Tomorrow we will, hopefully.
Tomorrow afternoon for us.
Tomorrow afternoon, yes. Tomorrow afternoon. But yeah, so we figured we'd have you guys on.
No, it's not tomorrow afternoon. It's tomorrow SmackDown. I'm thinking for some reason I feel like
technically
Monday, right? Monday.
No, I thought he's advertised for tomorrow. Is he not?
I don't know.
Who
are you even talking about?
I'm talking about John Cena, what I call him. No, John Cena at the Elimination Chamber, obviously the wrestling story that broke everything. John Cena finally, in his last year, turns heel. Cody tells The Rock, we're within 10 minutes, so I'm going to edit it, but Cody tells The Rock to go F himself, which if the show ended there, that might have been the biggest wrestling story of the year so far, that there was an unedited F-bomb. But then, after that, John Cena goes in for the hug. He looks at The Rock. His face just drops of emotion. And The Rock does and John Cena turns heel, aligns with The Rock, and now we are looking at bad guy John Cena for the first time heading to WrestleMania to try to break the record and become the 17-time world champ. Joey, I will lead with you, and then I want to hear what Adam has to say after that. But in that moment, what's like, I'm sure you're like all of us. We're like, we can't believe they actually did it. But John Cena turned heel. How were you feeling? How are you feeling since?
You know what? It was one of those moments that you're going to remember forever when it comes to wrestling. I remember as a kid watching certain people, The Rock and Hogan, big moments like that. This, I think, tops it all, because being an adult, growing up with John Cena, that's all we wanted. Like, leave the kids alone, be our guy, be the adults guy. And that face drop, man. I mean, I don't know how he did it, from smiling to that, like, villainous, I don't even know what you call it. It was Hollywood's paying off for him. That's all I could say.
He's a very, very esteemed actor. You saw Ricky Stenicki, right?
Yeah. I like Ricky Stenicki.
I used photos from that movie to describe the heel turn on Twitter. The facial expressions were the same in that movie.
Yeah. It's incredible. Adam,
So I have a lot of thoughts on it. Back in 2020, Bray Wyatt had the Firefly Funhouse match. And Bray Wyatt back then was telling us, you're not a hero, John. You're a bully. You're a horrible person. You do anything for fame in the spotlight. Congratulations. You're the man now, John. Poor, lonely John Cena. Bray Wyatt's premonition came true. As long as I've been following that arc since that time during the pandemic, I knew it was coming. I just didn't know when. And the payoff was absolutely extraordinary. And to your point, had they just ended it with the F-bomb, it would have been an incredible story, right? You could have had it beat down. You could have television's Rock the Dwayne Johnson could have done something to attack Cody or whatever it was. But then you get this amazing heel turn, and it just totally changes the dynamic of the entire story. I can't, and again, I'm a 90s kid, right? Like I'm old as dirt. I'll be 40 this year. And I recall.
Hey, me too.
Hey, man. Well, happy early,
Rock
guys.
and roll, man. Happy early.
Listen.
Yeah.
These old guys.
Hey, why don't you back off? All right.
These old guys turns 39 next month.
Geriatric millennials unite. But I just heard my knee crack, by the way, so it's almost bedtime. I'm old enough to remember the Hulk Hogan heel turn, and I remember watching that and being like, this is insane. I can't believe this is happening. And I got to experience the heel turn with my oldest son, James, watching it and watching his face drop and going through all of the same emotions that I did as a kid when brother turned. So I think they did a masterful job. I don't think they could have done it any better. And I think it was the only choice they had to do in this scenario.
Yeah, they were running out of options. Dan's in the house. What's up, Dan? Scott's in the house. Dustin, what's good? Welcome in. Yeah. Man, I can tell you, like, you point to the kids, like my kids and people that don't watch wrestling would come up to me going like, hey, what's up with John Cena? What happened? Like, so it was a massive moment. It shifted. Like, we started the road to WrestleMania with the, Jey Uso winning the Rumble, and you're like, oh shit, okay. Whoops. Well, I guess I owed to the swear jar, but and then you're like, okay, well that makes sense. And then like
money in the cup.
That's right. I'm gonna have to super chat to the swear jar unless anybody else wants to do it for me. It's got me balling on a budget these days. But it was just a shock. And then they go, The Rock's gonna take Cody's soul, and you're like, all right, where's this going, right? And then they do this road to WrestleMania, like. Every time I look up, it's something crazy and different and new, and it's the most unpredictable road to WrestleMania I remember in quite some time. So, whew.
Yeah, and like I think Joey made a good point too. It's like I think this one, because you still have the young kids who still love John Cena. They're always, they love this character of John Cena before what we saw, but then you have that generation of kids that are now adults that grew up with John Cena as their hero, as literally their hero, and now they're adults and they want their hero to go to the dark.
That was me.
Yeah, exactly. And so it's a weird, like when Cody was cutting his promo, the other night and we heard the John Cena, let's go Cena, Cena sucks chants, I started like almost laughing to myself. I'm like, because that chant is back now, but it's the complete opposite.
Had a different feel to it now.
John It sucks before is now saying let's go Cena, and vice versa. It's a completely different dichotomy of the audience. That's probably
if you're a total Divas / Total Bellas stan, you know John Cena's been a heel forever. my wife when I was like, Mrs. Pluggo, like that night I did the reaction show here, and then I stayed up until like 2 a.m. just watching videos. I couldn't believe it. Yeah. And she goes, "What are you doing? Go to bed." I go, "John Cena's a heel." I'm like, I can't let it go. And she goes, in like dead sleep, she goes, "He's been a heel since Total Bellas." And I was like, she's like, "Go to bed." And I was like, okay.
Not wrong. She's not wrong.
She's not wrong. No, 100%.
No.
We got a couple.
Damn it.
Yeah, we got a couple questions in the
How
chat.
dare you? How dare you put water on my countertop in my kitchen?
How dare you make me food?
Nikki was like, "It's the kitchen, John." He's like, "Water does not belong in here."
Yeah, I don't know what was going on. That was very
That was before Hollywood.
It really was. It really was. Dustin asks, he asked 2 questions, but the first one he says, do you think Cena turning now is better than if he had done it, say, at WrestleMania?
Yes.
I think the way that it was executed, I feel like that's as good as it could. That was, in my opinion, honestly, perfection. Like, I thought they knocked it out of the park the way they did it. Because my mind was like, okay, I had 3 guys. I'm like, Cody, Punk, or Cena. It's one of these 3 that are going to, because if Cody says no, which I think at Chamber, we all knew he was at least going to say no at the Chamber. I felt like it was one of those 3 guys, but they decided to do it right away. And it kind of felt, because, you know, when the rundown came out earlier in the day, that wasn't the thing that was going last. If you like saw the rundown, it was WWE put out the rundown and it was not last. And then when you're watching it in real time, this is now the main event segment. And it's like, okay, something giant has to happen here for this to be the main event because the event was good the whole way through. Mm-hmm. So it's like, for this to be the main event, something giant has to happen. And it was arguably the first or second most giant thing to maybe ever happen.
What do you guys think John Cena says on Monday night at Raw in Germany?
It probably can't be aired on television, I would imagine. He's going to come out and say an extraordinary amount of cuss words.
But he's not. But they're on Netflix now. Which, by the way, we can always talk. We can talk. They bleeped out Seth Rollins and Punk.
Chucking not even swear.
I know your BS. Let me tell you guys, and we'll get into that Punk promo before I split. But oh my god, right?
Yeah.
I think Punk, or listen to me. I think Cena's going to come out and he's going to Hogan 96. Like that's the trajectory here, right? Like the parallels are almost identical here. I think he's going to come out. He's going to cut some kind of, you know, if you want to hear what I have to say, Mean Gene, tell these people to shut up, right? Like that kind of thing. I think it's going to be one of 2 ways. He's either come out, he's going to go full heel, or he's going to go, let me explain. Let me tell you why I did what I did.
Yeah.
Desperate for the 17th championship. I need this. I need to show you this, right? It's either going to be that he's gone completely to the dark side, or it's like, you don't understand. I need this. And again, tying into that Bray Wyatt part of this, right? He's doing anything for fame, anything for that spotlight, anything for 17. So I think it could be one of those ways.
Joey, what about you?
There's so many things that go through my mind when we're talking about this, because if you go look at WWE.com now on the Superstar page, they have a new render of Cena up. It's not on his profile, but at the top where they show all the guys and girls, he's there in his final tour merch with a straight face. It's a different facial expression of Cena. They're still selling the farewell tour merch on the shop. They just put a new one out for Brussels a couple days ago. So maybe he's really not going to change much besides the tone of how he speaks, which if you look back to the Royal Rumble press conference, that was heel Cena speaking.
Oh,
way to bring up a sore subject for JPJ.
I know. They told me I had a question for Cena, and he walked in and he healed on me. I was like, this son of a B. He is a heel. That was gonna be my moment.
Only one I wanted to talk to there too, and I was like,
I know. They were like, "You want a question?" I'm like, "Yeah, I would love to ask."
I was shaking. I was like,
John
oh my God,
grew up. Yeah, John Cena grew up the town over from where I sit right now. So like, I'm like, I want to ask John Cena a question if I can.
You want me to ask John Cena a question? No, thanks.
And they were like, "All right, I'll get you one." I was like, "Hell yeah!" And then he walks in and goes, "I'm not taking questions." And I went, "What the hell, John?" That's what I want. I wanted to stand up and go, "Hey, John, what the hell?" But I'm a professional. Anyway,
I just think
I will just think about it for the rest of my life. It's fine. It's fine.
Who's upset? Who's crying? Not me.
Not me. Not me every day for at least 10 minutes. It's fine. It's fine. So that all happens. And yeah, at the press conference, he's talking with entitlement. When the hell does John Cena ever speak entitled?
But it was more tone
in his dining room,
where he's more adamant, and he knew what he knew his value, and he knew what he meant to the business. And it was just all of that combined. You were like, this is a little different, maybe because he was pissed that that he lost the Rumble. But then again, where does he go from there? Calling his shot. I don't know. It felt like it was much needed, especially with this road to WrestleMania, because everybody was complaining. All the fans were complaining, like, how do you compare it to last year? How do you compare it to whatever, And
change real quick.
Yeah.
Change real quick. Got real interesting. Really, really, really.
I'll be interested to see the reaction, especially like since his first appearance will be in Germany, and the fans over there overseas are always bonkers. So I'm wondering if they're gonna. I think everybody's gonna play along and boo him. I don't think we're gonna get like these big cheers, just because it would be so crazy if we were just like, we're just going to cheer him regardless of what he did. Because we've been waiting for this for 20 years. He'll get cheered by some.
Yeah, I think we're going to get back.
Maybe he'll get some what chance? I don't know.
I think we're going to get back. I know. I think we're going to get back more to the middle. Let's go Cena. We heard it on Monday. He wasn't even there. Let's go Cena. Like, I think it might not be as heavy as it was back when he was at his height and that was happening. But I think there are going to be people that are going to be rooting for Cena, because have been people waiting a decade for this.
I was thinking about what he's going to say, like the first thing out of his mouth. And I literally, like, I thought about it. I gave myself chills. I was like, what if he just comes out there and he's like, "Can you see me now?" Just, like, starts it off like that. And it's like, you're like, oh, what?
That'd be nice.
Like, he does the goosebumps thing too.
Yeah,
he just stands there for 20 minutes.
The Rock will be behind him like this.
Microphone. That's it.
Exactly.
Travis Scott with the sage. Like,
yeah. And Dustin asked another question before we talk about, because there's been a lot more other things outside of this John Cena heel turn that have been going on here. And we do have a super chat I'm going to get to in a second, but I want to get to Dustin's question. He said, how long do you think this Cena heel turn will last? Do you see it running into the summer, or do we think it will be a quick? Do we think this is by the end of the year, he's going to be the fans are going to want to cheer him by the time we get to the end.
We'll never forget this. That's a great question. Fine. We're never going to forget this part though.
Yeah, like that's fine.
I think we're going to get Cena and Punk. All right. So here's my big prediction for WrestleMania. Okay. This is the first time I'm talking about it. Ooh, I think Cena's going to go over at WrestleMania. I think Cena's going to beat him for the title.
Yep.
He's going to get 17 at WrestleMania, and then it's going to be like the summer of terror kind of thing. He's going to just rip through the roster, right? Randy Orton, Kevin Owens, like all these other people, right? Again, to go back to the WCW comparison, what I love so much about the Hogan heel turn, and if y'all remember, if you've never seen this, I want you to go back to the first Nitro after Hogan turned in '96. Every single person on that roster, heel, face, in between, was like, oh crap, we don't really know what to do now that Hulk Hogan's here. Like, they're doing their spots, but they're like, we don't really know what to do now, and we're not really sure how to operate, right? The heel turn affected everybody, and I think that's happening with Cena, and I think you're going to see that ripple across through the summer. I think we're going to get the payoff with Cena and Punk at SummerSlam, and I think Punk's going to go over, and that's going to start the redemption of John Cena through the end of the run. That's my take.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
Yeah, I like that. I like how, because and even like we still haven't heard from Cena, obviously, but other wrestlers on the roster have mentioned and referenced and talked about what Cena did. Yeah. So that doesn't happen all the time. You don't have the other wrestlers walking around talking about, Braun Strowman and Jacob Fatu from last week. That doesn't happen. You know what I mean? But they're mentioning, they're making references to the Cena turn. So that makes me think that it is going to be at that level where it affects the whole thing.
Expensive, yeah. The whole universe is again. Remember, the entire WWE universe is thrown off its axis now because he's been their North Star for so long. Everybody's impacted by this. Everybody's looking at it and going, "What do we do now? How do we operate? Who's really on our side?" Kind of thing, right?
Yeah, I like it. Yeah,
my thing is, if John Cena can turn, anything's possible.
That's exactly 100%. It just changed everything. It changed everything. How long do you see it going, Joe?
I think the biggest thing that we need to take into account here is how is this relationship with The Rock going to work? Because the two of them, we know since 2027, WrestleMania 27 is when their feud started, and it's been on and off since then. Mm-hmm. And they're both egotistical, and they both want to be the guy. So maybe there's going to be a power struggle here. And that's ultimately going to turn Cena back to being a babyface because he's not retiring a heel. He's gonna retire as a babyface. What I think is going to happen, I think the match with Punk's going to happen. I think a match with Seth is going to happen.
Yep.
Match with Orton is going to happen. A match with McIntyre is going to happen at some point. But I think ultimately what's going to happen is this title reign is maybe after the summer, or maybe even the whole time is this title reign. But I think what happens is it ends with the redemption story of Cody Rhodes regaining that title because Cena turns on The Rock and says, you know what? Screw you. And Cody takes back over, and now you can build to that Cody Rock story next year. Cena goes off into the sunset as a babyface, kind of giving Cody that like it's yours now, and because this whole thing is being done to obviously celebrate Cena's career one last time, but also to elevate Cody. That's what The Rock did it last year to elevate Roman and Cody. I think this is being done to kind of pass down everything Cena's done to Cody. Now, Cody, you go do the Make-A-Wish. You go do the PR. You go do all the stuff that I did for 20 plus years. It's all yours.
I'm sick of them kids, man.
Yeah,
I'm sick of them damn kids.
Yeah.
Cody, man, listen. And you don't understand, brother.
I think that's the good part of it. To me, people have been wanting a John Cena heel turn, and there were opportunities to do it over the last decade or so, but they never did it. And it's a different regime. I understand that, but it feels to me that Cody side of it is, this tells me that even though it is Cena's last year, they know they have the guy. They know that Cody is the guy. He's the guy. And he's been the guy since he's come back, and they feel comfortable enough. Again, different regime, but they feel comfortable enough finally doing this because they know that's okay. We don't need John to be that guy right now because we have a couple guys, but we have
Cody's side now. He ain't got nobody left.
Think about it this way, though. What if Roman is on Cody's side secretly? Because remember, what year was it? 2016, 2017? The See a Fourth Wall promo. I'm still here because you can't do your job.
Yep.
That still hasn't ever really been paid off.
Yeah.
No, what if now we go all, because again, in the Triple H era, they're going all the way back. They're feeding you all that stuff, right? They're pulling from everything.
Mm-hmm. And that would make sense because I do feel like next year, if The Rock is available to wrestle at WrestleMania, like obviously he's involved with Cody, but I think it's Rock and Roman still is the bit. And that is a way to, if this
Rock holds the power here, you could just be like, nobody go to Cody's back or you're fired. I'm on the board.
He could
do whatever. They can give the match to either one. They could do Roman Cody or Cody, Roman Rock or Cody Rock next year, depending on the Rock's schedule. They January, whatever, they can kind of make it a decision which direction they're going. So there's two stories on the table still.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Just as long as neither one of them sneak up on a man who's been in a chemical fire. Grainmaker Wrestling Pod with the hot rod quote. Let's go, baby.
Yeah.
And then the boss saying, Rhodesian. Yes.
Very much becoming one of my favorite shticks when Grainmaker just throws the obscure movie.
The late 90s, early 2000s.
Yes. You want to hit those comedies, those Super Bad last week or Hot Rod this week. Keep it coming. Keep it coming. So then that's just the Elimination Chamber. Then we go to Raw a couple nights later, and CM Punk finally cuts this promo from the CM Punk I've been waiting for.
Finally got rid of the gosh golly, I'm happy to be here.
No more happy to be here bullshit.
Yep.
Don't get me wrong, I like Punk as a babyface, but stop it.
Yeah.
This was the CM Punk I want.
All the facial expressions he made during that whole promo knew he was unhinged.
He was not messing around. He told The Rock where to go, was not scared, just said, I don't give a shit who you are.
A bald fraud.
Yeah, I don't care who you are.
Somewhere in that moment, my brothers at the Public Enemies podcast were immediately queuing up the ether beat behind that promo. The gunshots going off behind that bald fraud. Whoo!
As soon as he took the sleeve off the mic, we're like, it's on.
It's happening. Yeah.
Yep. It's happening. It's happening.
Yep.
Everyone, quick, in the living room. Quick. You're going to miss something. Come on.
He cuts a great promo, and then it leads to a good brawl with him and Seth. So that happens. And then at the end of the night, we have this WWE Women's World Championship match with Rhea Ripley and Io Sky. Bianca Belair wins the chamber at Elimination Chamber, so she's out there. She kind of gets involved, gets a little physical with Rhea Ripley. Rhea is she costs her, it's her own fault, but she's paying too much attention to Bianca. She loses her concentration, and nobody saw this coming. If you saw this coming, I don't believe you.
I was so confident in Rhea Ripley retaining that I put up a graphic about who's going to be the first one to lose her title at Mania.
Yes. But Io Sky upsets.
She didn't even make
Ripley. No, she upsets Rhea Ripley. She becomes the WWE Women's Champion. And then so everybody's thinking, oh man, we're finally getting Rhea and Bianca huge at Mania. And within 48 hours, nope, it's Io and Bianca. And now, obviously, we're a week past.
Now it's a triple threat essentially.
Now we can kind of see where things are going. But that's 72 hours by WWE with how the chamber ended and then how that Raw ended. They completely flipped the script on the road to wrestle, just completely out of nowhere. And it was just incredible. And now we're a few weeks past that, and WrestleMania is sizing up.
Yeah.
Punk, Rollins, cage match this past Monday, main event, and a good one. Good one. And the way the match ends is Roman Reigns makes his return. He pulls Seth out of the cage, not to help him win. He wants to murder Seth Rollins, but he helped him win. Seth win. And then he beats up Seth. And I think we all a lot of us expected Roman to return and kind of see the first half of that.
Yeah.
But they threw me for a loop because I did not expect the second half with Heyman in the ring with Punk. And that's how they got Punk involved with this.
And Roman looking all like, what the fuck?
That smile, I'm going to kill everybody.
We can say that now.
We can say the F-bombs now.
You want to get them out? Go right ahead.
10 minutes.
I'm allowing myself one F-bomb on the show, sir. And that's it.
Oh, okay. PG-13 movie style.
Hey, listen, again, a kid of the 90s. You got to do it right.
Yeah. So now.
When the fuck did we get ice cream?
That's the best line in that whole movie.
That's
the best line in that whole movie. The end of that Raw was spectacular.
So
whoever booked that match was a freaking genius.
Yeah. The end of that Raw was a spectacular piece of business.
Yeah.
That whole match, beginning to end, pillar to post, the whole match was great. The timing was fantastic. They just hated each other, man. It was perfect. And then that last shot, you're just totally invested in Roman and Seth, and then they go back in the ring and there's Heyman comforting Punk. You're like, oh man.
And how Roman was the first one to see it, even before us. Even before
the
us.
camera angle that they showed of Roman out of the cage and they were in the ring. It was
just beautiful. And I think we all had that same you all see, and Heyman is literally consoling CM Punk. And you're like, all of us were like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Like Heyman. and then Roman loses it, takes out Punk, and now that triple threat match. I mean, that is you talk about 3 legend, like top of the top legendary guys in a triple threat like that. Man,
main event of night 1.
That's what I think. That's what I think it would be. I would love it if they even threw winner is the number 1 contender or something like that. But like, I don't even, but like, it's just so I want to throw this out there to you. Okay. So Punk still has this favor. And I thought that originally it was going to be booked that it was going to be a 1-on-1 with Roman and Seth first. And then Punk's favor was going to be getting him in the match. But what if the favor is that he's going to want Heyman in his corner at WrestleMania?
It's a good one.
I just wanted to throw that out there. I
think it's I'm trying to think of how I want to approach this. I think the favor itself, I don't think they're going to pay it off with Heyman in his corner. Okay. I think it's going to. I genuinely think it's going to be like a title match, right? Like he's going to help politic get him to that level. I think you're going to see a more of like a split kind of situation where like with Roman Reigns and Bork Laser, right? Because we can't say his name, but you know who I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
So you're going to see that kind of interaction between the two of them. I definitely could see, I don't know if it was Joey who said it, but the main event of night 1, like I could definitely see that happening. I just think that favor is going to have to be something massive. Like it's, you know, I know like he's got his loyalties and this, that, and the other, but I can see the vision for it, right? Like I see where you're going with it. But I think for me personally, the payoff for that would be much bigger, where it's like, okay, Paul, I want my favor, and my favor is to fight Cena at SummerSlam, right? Or whatever. Like I want to fight him for the title, and that's what I want.
I think that would also be the right way to go. Yeah, I was trying to think about like how that comes into play. Yeah. And then I was just like, oh, that would be kind of add more intrigue to it and things like that. But Adam, we know you got a split.
Yeah. Before you split, I know you got to go. I'm not going to ask you. I'm not going to ask your Waffle House order. I'm not.
Shout out to Malcolm. That's my dude, man.
Shout out to Malcolm getting that in at the Rock. But what match are you most looking forward to on the WrestleMania build, and which match needs a little bit more steam, you think?
Good question, man. Good question.
Ooh. Trying to make an easy one for you.
He's back in for another half an hour.
This whole time I've been sitting here trying to figure out how to work in a quote from Dirty Work, which is one of my favorite movies. So I may just randomly throw it in before I leave. So I think the one I'm most excited for, I think, is right now Jey Uso and Gunther.
Okay.
That to me, I feel like, because again, I've been invested in the Jey Uso story since like the pandemic days, right? Like there's just something about the character, there's something about the story, the redemption from the abuse and everything. I mean, it's just like it mirrors my life in so many different ways. So for me to see this character go from where he was to where he is now on a personal level, for me, it's like, it's brilliant. Like this can't get any better, right? The one that needs a little bit more juice, I guess I want to say Tiffany and Charlotte. Like, I know it's like, like when I spoke to Tiffany a couple months ago, we were talking about this potential Charlotte match, and, she mentioned it. She's like, anything can happen and it's going to be great. Like, I'm sure it's going to be fantastic. Right. Like, don't get me wrong. Like the in-ring work is going to be great. I just need a little bit more sizzle on the steak when it comes to the story. Right. I think potentially we have a couple more weeks till we get there. So I'm hoping that they'll turn up the volume on that a little bit, but I don't know exactly why they hate each other yet. You know what I mean? Like I need them to like really hate each other right now.
Yeah, get a little personal.
Gonna get in the ring, like.
Yeah, it sounds. Yeah, I feel
she's wrestling BFAB tomorrow night on SmackDown.
All right, there we go.
Just announced like an hour or two ago.
Love it.
Adam, we appreciate you so much.
Way out of line. Ridiculous. Lack of respect, I think. That's the worst part.
Yeah, he's doing.
Actually, it's the other thing. That's the worst part. But the lack of respect hurts the second most. Hello, real cops? Yeah.
Oh, he's got to go.
That's it. That's the buzzer. He's like, I gotta go. My timer went up. Yeah, absolutely. If you want to plug your stuff real quick on your way out of here, feel free, so that people know where they can find you.
Thank you so much. You can follow me at the Angle Pot. No, I'm kidding. You can follow me at This Is Goober. Yes, it's my handle. No, I'm not changing it. It's a brand pal. That's where all I do all my stuff. It's on Instagram. It's on Twitter. Because as we know, we don't call it the other name here, sir. Not
ever. No, we never.
We don't do that. No. So you can follow me there. Check me out. I also host Mind of the Meanie with ECW original and former WWE superstar, the Blue Meanie. It drops every Monday anywhere you listen to your podcast. And go to mindofthemeanie.com. Go and check out my articles on Screen Rant. I just actually did the official Screen Rant review for WWE 2K25. Awesome. It's a fabulous game. There's a little bit of funky parts in it, but it didn't take away from me overall. And I think it's the best installment in the entire 2K line of WWE. So go and check it out at screenrant.com. I appreciate you, fellas. Thank you so much. Joey, always a pleasure to see you, good sir. And Absolutely. I hope to see you guys all in Vegas next month.
We'll get you back on.
Guys. Thanks for joining, pal.
What's that, Joey?
One of the hardest working guys in all this, man.
Absolutely.
And thank you for helping me all the time that you do.
Hey, man. Thank you.
You're the man, Adam.
Thanks, guys.
Take it easy, Adam. There we go. Go give that man some love. He is a spectacular fella.
Never get to give him his flowers on anything live, so I had to.
There we go. Well, I'm glad we could do that.
Well, enough of that, Joe. No, I'm just kidding. No, he's awesome. He was booked last week, and then he had the things come up, and we had to get him on, and then we weren't sure if he was going to be 100% ready to go, so we were like, "Hey, let's do a little roundtable to talk the road to WrestleMania." I think that was
the best, you know.
Yeah. We should definitely do that again. That was
100%. And I still want to keep this conversation going because there's so much.
Oh, well, Joey, why don't we keep it going with the question I asked Adam? Why don't I ask you? What's your match you're looking forward to, and which one needs a little more juice? That's such a good question. I've never been told I asked a good question before.
I'm glad Adam's not here to hear my answer.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think you and I are going to be on the same page here because, and I know he said he has a personal aspect.
Yeah.
But I think that's the match that needs some juice.
And you know what? That's the thing about wrestling. Like, everybody has their own connection to something. And it's like, I may not see what you see, but you may not see what I see. So
that's what I love about this sport. Everything is subjective and no one is no one's right.
Yeah, no one's wrong. No one's right. No one's wrong. You like what you like. Or you have personal.
It's not black and white. It's not like heel babyface anymore. There's so many different things that go into it. But to your question, which is a great question, because you could have a whole show on that question. And I'll try not to do that.
I'm trying to. It's fine. That's what we're here for. I'm trying to get better at just being a person on air, I guess. Feel good tonight.
Honestly, I'm most excited for Cena Cody. I'm excited to see now what we're gonna get from Cena as a heel, but also like what is the story? Like Adam was saying, like with the Charlotte Tiffany thing, like why do they hate each other? Because the last that we saw, Cody and Cena were friends. They were good. They were cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So where did this come from? If there is any hate, or if it's just the fact that Cena won 17, he aligned with The Rock because he knows he can get it, and it's nothing more than that. So to see that is going to be what I'm most excited for. To be honest with you, I think Cody right now is looking a little weak. I know a lot of people are not going to like that, but he's coming out. He's getting teary-eyed. He's like, I want to see this man go on a war path. I mean, like, this guy that he trusted backstabbed him and made him look like a fool with Travis Scott, with The Rock. The Rock did this to him last year. How many times is Cody going to go in for a hug and not get stabbed in the front? You know what I mean? Like, I want to see him just lose his mind now and maybe kind of plant seeds for a future heel turn for Cody. Like, I want to see him go out and I want to see him just destroy somebody. Like,
that'd be nice.
Like, why aren't we getting that from our champion? It just seems like he's too soft. That's just my opinion right now.
That's fair.
I agree, but I think maybe they're kind of doing it a little bit by design. Because if you remember, right, this whole thing starts with The Rock kind of like wanting his soul, and he's super confused the whole time. He's like, and then he comes there and he stands up to The Rock. And I don't, obviously he knew it was coming in real life, but in kayfabe, that John Cena, Mr. Babyface himself, Mr. Company Man, sold out. I bet he's still kind of like, he's like, and Travis Scott punches him in the, gives him, you know what I mean? So he's probably reeling a little bit in kayfabe, but he'll come around. That's why I asked, like, who's not, because last year at WrestleMania, he had Seth on his side.
Yeah.
He had The Undertaker. He had Cena.
Yeah.
Like the whole roster was behind him, and nobody has come around to like, hey man, I got your back on this one.
Well, look who celebrated with Cena in the ring when look who celebrated with Cody when he won last year at WrestleMania.
I was going to say, because the reason
all the guys
why
that came after him.
Exactly. The reason why Cody doesn't have anyone on his side this year is because Cena was in the ring celebrating with him last year.
KO was in there.
KO was in there.
Yeah.
All these guys that eventually, eventually ended up either turning or having problems with Cody because Cody then aligned with Roman.
Yeah, so he's kind of alienating himself.
He's broken his bridges with some of these people. So now
who's left on the roster? Otis and Tozawa got Jay.
Yeah, like it's just that's
even Jay's got somebody.
Yeah, that's the other side of the story.
Yeah,
that I think they haven't dived into yet is that Cody's been. I almost feel like the title, like the fact that Cena would do what he did to get the title.
He's desperate.
One last time. He's like, and when you think about Roman with that title, and even the sacrifices that Cody made for 2 years, he fought with the torn pec, like the things that these guys have been doing to get to the title since Triple H has really taken over. It feels like, even though the title means you're at the top, it feels like the title is bringing out like the worst in people. Kind of.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But not
like the power of it.
Not necessarily the worst in people, but it makes you, it's giving these guys a prize to strive for. Like they want, like if you look at the roster in WWE, it's stacked as it's ever been.
Yeah.
There can only be one at the top. So how do you figure who that is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, you could all be friends, but sooner or later, someone's going to step on somebody's toes and someone's going to go and grab it, you know?
And maybe not, they're not obviously writing this as part of the story, but the WWE title now, the top of the food chain, look what that's done for Cody Rhodes' career outside of wrestling, right? So even if like you wanted to factor that and go, WWE's the hottest it's ever been, it's at the biggest price point it's ever been. If I'm the champ, I get the commercials, I get the fun spots, I get to do all the cool stuff like Cody's doing. So there's even more incentive nowadays to be like, F that guy.
Yeah.
So look at Roman. Look what it did for Roman.
Yeah, exactly. He's a movie star now. He's in a bunch of, he's doing all sorts of stuff. Cody's the same way. It's
and kind of along that conversation of like, who's the face now? Who's the guy? The guy is Cody. Roman is the attraction now.
Yeah.
He's not the guy. He's not the face of the company. He's the attraction that comes in every so often and has that, like he's the new Cena. As
it's true.
Predicted.
It's true. Yeah, it's just crazy. I feel like the belt and being the champion this whole time since Cody won last year at WrestleMania has been slowly breaking him down.
Yeah.
Like not like as part of the story. You know what I mean? Like it's breaking him down.
Well, if you look at it, he really didn't plan for what comes next.
Yeah.
After his whole career was based upon getting to that point and getting that title that his father never got. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now
it's like,
he's just learning on the fly.
Yeah. Really incredible stuff. And obviously we have a ways to go. I think we have 5 weeks still. But I do want to talk about, because there are other we talked about the Punk Roman Seth thing, like just the brilliance of that.
Can we really quickly talk about how CM Punk has turned himself into Super Cena?
What do you mean?
He kicked out of like 19 finishers.
But Seth kicked out of they kicked out of
they did. But I also wanted to bring that up. We'll get to Revolution here in a little bit, but everybody was bitching and moaning about the Revolution finisher kicks out. Nobody said a word about Monday night.
That
you dweebs on the internet. Make it make sense.
Let me touch on Punk real fast, but kind of finishing that question that I told you I was going to go on half an hour for.
No, good. I like it. I like it.
The match that needs the most help right now is Jay and Gunther, to me, at least.
Yeah.
It's a world championship match. Jay won the Royal Rumble. Everybody forgot. Yeah. Everybody forgot because of this whole Cena thing. And every week, all they've been doing is having Jay make a save and Gunther chokes him out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and like the Alpha Academy's helping him out, fighting his battles and stuff. And I'm just
like it doesn't feel like a world championship match. Honestly, if it feels like a certain world title match I saw years ago with Jack Swagger at WrestleMania. To be honest.
Oh, yikes.
Where like it's like somewhere on the card.
Yeah.
You know who's gonna win. I'd be shocked if Gunther won. You know, that'd be a real twist there.
I'm seeing quite the groundswell of people thinking that that was his moment, was the wrong. But I think that would be crazy. Don't get me wrong. I think Jay wins, but I can tell you, I can see a lot of the internet and a lot of people that cover this going like Gunther might just retain.
But I think part of that is that this is hit for me. I think everything that Joey said is correct, but also for me, like I only can hear Jey Uso tell me that everybody's never thought he was going to win the big one so many times. Like you can't like, and that's the thing for me. Like, it's like what the promo that Jay cut
the night after
was great. Amazing. It was amazing. But like, since then, every promo has been this, like, and I'm not knocking him, but every promo has been the same. It's been, nobody said I was going to be able to do this. I did it. Nobody thinks I can beat Gunther. I did. It's like, okay, you can't tell me that for 7 straight weeks and expect me to care more on week 6 of this. Like something and like you've been getting your ass kicked by Gunther the whole time. Now, if they do, who knows? Maybe on Monday, Jay finally gets his come up, and he beats the crap out of Gunther for a whole segment, and maybe that changes things because Jay and it's like, but they
give him a match. Let him face like Seth or somebody.
Yeah, well, he's gonna be fight. Yeah, he just fought Grayson Waller. He's fighting Austin Theory on Monday, so they're doing this because they just had, even though the matches that Gunther had with Tozawa and Otis were just
Tozawa, baby.
Both of them. But they're having Jay kind of do a similar thing against A-Town Down Under, whatever. But like, I just think that they need like one of those killer segment that just invests everybody, whether Gunther has to get even more personal, or Jay just needs to snap and just beat the shit out of Gunther one night. I don't know.
And there's so many things that they could do. There's so many things that are at their disposal. Like, let me give you a few of them as quickly as I can. One, why not have Jimmy interrupt a Jey Uso promo and be like, brother, you got this. You are Jey Uso. Like, you like show how he believes in his brother.
Yeah.
Build to a moment. Bring Rikishi out. Have Rikishi there and be like, son, you can do this. Be the world champion. I know you can be. Have Roman give him a nod backstage or something, like
Sami Zayn.
Anybody
that they've worked with, and the family is massive. You know what I mean? Like, have Roman do it. Have Rikishi do it. Have Jimmy do it. Somebody needs to be like, brother, stop doubting yourself. You got here. Now you're gonna finish it.
Yeah.
And now Jay's got that confidence, and now you see like, oh, he goes to WrestleMania. But I see him. He's going to win the world title the first match of night 1. Like,
I was going to say that. I think that's the opener of the show. You get the entrance to open up WrestleMania. The crowd going nuts with the entrance and all that stuff. And then he wins, and the 70, 80, 90,000 people yeeting. Like, that's how the weekend's going to start, I think.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think what you like, they really need to ramp.
Well, here's my question
up here.
Based on everything that you just said, Joey, and how we're talking about this, he wins it. Then what's next? Because they did the thing where he won the IC title, and it was like a huge moment. And then it's like, okay, can he sustain like I don't want to say a long. I don't think he needs it for like a year. Can he go to SummerSlam with the same heat, or is it going to be secondary title? Because that's what it's looking like right now, and I don't love that because I think both of these guys are fantastic. It's just whatever they're doing is missing something for sure.
I think whoever beats Jey Uso, I think whoever wins Money in the Bank is going to take the title from Jey Uso.
Okay, like a cash in maybe that night.
Yeah. I definitely see it like maybe.
When's the last time we had a men's cash in the night of?
The night of Money in the Bank.
Yeah, they do it. They do it with the women all the time.
Was it Kane?
Shout out to David. Welcome to the chat, brother.
On Ray, right?
Yeah, it might have been.
I think that might have been the last because Alexa Bliss did it same night on.
Oh Raw, no, it wasn't. It was.
Oh no, Drew cashed in same night but lost last year.
Dean Ambrose.
No, that's
did it.
Oh yeah, Dean Ambrose Dean Ambrose did it. Yeah,
I forgot about that.
Because that was the night. That was the night where all three members of the Shield touched. They were all heavyweight champion.
The quickest Money in the Bank.
Yeah. Roman was champion. Seth won, and then Dean
cashed in on Seth.
Yeah.
And then last year Drew McIntyre won it, cashed in, but Punk cost him. So he technically did cash in night of. It just wasn't successful. One thing I do want to talk about that.
Drew.
I know. We talked about the Io Sky Rhea match and how Io won the title. I thought, okay, I want to talk about this segment on Monday with the three of them with Bianca, and then we got to talk about Bianca's other thing that's going on here too, because we haven't dived into that at all, and we need to. But I thought on Monday night, I thought that segment with Rhea, Bianca, and Io was another home run, knock it out of the park segment. The way that Rhea and Bianca were at each other's face, and Io was the afterthought.
Yes,
as
they
the
were
champion,
pushing her down like she's the little sister.
And and she's tried to get in, and they're pushing her face.
Yeah.
Like they're not just like ignore, like, and they each do it, and then she just slaps the crap out of both of them and is like, "Hey, I'm the champion here, guys."
Yeah,
and she had all of MSG chanting her name.
Yes.
When that segment ended, and she was walking to the back saying like, "Yo, I'm the champ." Like that crowd was chanting Io. With Rhea and Bianca Belair, arguably the two biggest women's stars of the last decade. That was an incredible segment. And that triple threat match, along with the other one that we already talked about, those are both going to be incredible matches at WrestleMania if we assume they go that route. I love that segment between the three of them, and I'm very much looking forward to that match. And then if you turn it on the other side...
Do we think Io's the one that goes to Pierce and goes, "I want both of them"? Like, that would be cool in my opinion. If she goes, "I'll take on both," because she pointed at them both. It hasn't been made official, but I think if she goes, "Give me Rhea, give me," but I want the best. Why not? That'd be cool.
I think they're going to do one of those things where maybe they do like a Rhea versus Bianca on Raw. Winner goes to Mania, and then Io interrupts it, and it's just like a mess. So you get the Rhea Bianca match to a point, and then Io gets involved, and they make it a triple threat. I don't something like a typical
way
triple threat.
Yeah. I don't hate the way you just said it though, Pluggo. Like I think, because I'm going to be honest with you guys, I don't expect Io to be leaving WrestleMania as the champion as of right now.
That's what bothers me, because it's like,
it's quick.
It's not even that. It's like they put the title on her just to get her in that match, right?
Yes.
But does Rhea win again? Like, do we?
No, I think Bianca's winning.
You think so?
I still think there's a chance Bianca is going to go heel here.
I think there's more than a chance still.
I know we had our good buddy Mr. Ward Hayes on last week, and he said we were absolutely crazy for thinking that. But I think
it's inevitable at some point. Bianca turns heel.
Yeah.
Well, she's got a lot going on right now.
She does. She does have a lot going on, because obviously, going back to the Elimination Chamber, everybody's talking about the John Cena thing at the end of the show. But the show started off with another crazy, out of nowhere segment, because the chamber match was about to start. Naomi and Liv Morgan were the first two. And before the bell can even ring, or right after it did, we hear Jade Cargill's music. She comes out looking even more jacked than she already was the last. Like, I don't know how that's possible, because she's like a statue. But she comes out looking better than ever, and she beats the brakes off of Naomi. Liv is scared shitless.
Because Naomi beat the brakes off of her.
That's what
we found out.
That happens. Bianca is winning an Oscar in her pod, just crying and screaming. She knew it was Oscar weekend. She was like, "Watch this." And she's losing her mind, right? Yeah. Naomi is like, before Jay gets in there, she's looking at Bianca like, "Oh shit." And Bianca's like, and then, that all goes down. She shuts the door on Naomi. That happens. Bianca wins the chamber. And then we get this segment last Friday on SmackDown between Naomi and Bianca. Tremendous segment. The emotion. We've seen wrestlers get emotional on screen when they win big matches, even in promos and, things like that. That was the first time I can remember like an emotional promo like that, where they were like, it was incredible. They were
Absolutely
tears. They were
incredible.
yelling at each other, but like you could tell they loved each other, and just it literally felt like, honestly, two sisters or two real life best friends were like having a come to Jesus friendship argument. Like, no, like we need to talk about this or this is over.
It made me want that match at WrestleMania.
Exactly. And it was so good. And Naomi was so good. And I think Naomi is going to have a major 2025 as a heel. She's going to have a monster year.
She just posted a picture of her and Drew together.
Yeah.
I have a prediction on Naomi, and it's 4 words: Money in the Bank.
She needs
and if Bianca does win the title,
that would be
right
great.
There.
Yeah,
it is and right there.
You could drag that out for a year. Just have Naomi messing with Bianca.
You gotta let them get in the ring at some point, like Naomi versus Bianca. Like, how do you not have that at some point between now and WrestleMania?
And then where's Jade in all this, right? Like, does she believe that Naomi acted alone? Does she have some? Because she couldn't get to Bianca at the chamber because she was locked in the chamber.
They didn't even look at each other.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. And like, okay, so where's Jade? I can't wait to hear where she's at with all this too.
Yeah,
I originally thought that Bianca and Naomi were in on it together.
That's what I thought for a little bit.
They were setting up Jade to come out on Friday and both of them beat her down.
Ooh,
but then Bianca let her have Naomi, and I was like, oh wait, she's not in on this.
Maybe.
That's commitment right there. You know?
Yeah. But did you? And then just the way it happened when Jade lifted her up to give her Storm Zero, and Naomi's yelling, Bianca, Bianca. I was like, oh my God, man. Like, oh my God. I was like, this is just incredible.
Ain't that funny though that Bianca kept going, tell me now, we're done. And then when Naomi wanted to talk, Bianca's like, I don't want to talk.
I'm still not 100% convinced that Bianca.
You told me what I didn't want to hear. So
you're talking to me.
Yeah. Even though Naomi admitted it and we saw what we saw on Friday.
Yeah.
I'm still like not 100%. I can't go 100% that Bianca is on the level. They were her and Naomi both wearing black, Jade wearing all white.
Yeah.
I'm the type of guy that sees that something like that. I'm like, that is
all the Easter eggs.
Nah, they're both wearing black. She's wearing white. There's something going on, I think, still.
I'm surprised they didn't do this with the titles involved still, though. That was a little, but hey, whatever.
So I don't know. Like a Naomi Jade match at WrestleMania?
That's what I would think, right? I think Naomi Jade on one night, and then Bianca is going to be in the title picture. Yeah. You know, that makes sense. And then I personally think Bianca is going to win. I don't know if she's going to win at WrestleMania as a heel, but I think she's going to turn heel not so shortly after winning that belt. I just got a vibe with it.
Yeah.
And then where they go from there, I don't really know, but a part of me thinks that Bianca still has something to do with it. Kind of.
It's I would say it's too early to call, but it's really not anymore. Like we're kind of towards the end of it, or maybe towards the middle of it, I would say. And I'm still just like, I don't know what the hell is going on, man. Like this is
Jade
like
takes Bianca out at WrestleMania.
I'm just like, I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I just like, and obviously, like I know they had that great segment. Naomi fully admitted, I did do it. You know, basically her, I did it for the Rock moment.
But she didn't say she did it alone.
Exactly. And
she did say that was a huge lie. I think that we glossed over is she said, Bianca, I did this for you. You just don't know it yet. And I was like, what does that mean?
Well, she did point out that like Jade's using her. At least that's what she says.
Yeah.
Which I mean, so that tracks. Because Jade, no offense to Jade, I love Jade, but she needed all the help she could get early on, and she's
listen, it did work out for her, you know.
Yeah,
but man, like I personally would have loved to see Io and Rhea at Mania, and then Jade versus Bianca versus Naomi as a separate match.
Yeah, I thought that could have won it. Yeah, I was leaning in. Because, this whole time leaning into it, like I think Tiffany and Charlotte was kind of written for a while. I think a lot of us were like, that's definitely going to happen. Yeah. But on this side, I thought it was going to be Rhea and Io. I was like, oh, yeah, Rhea and Io. That makes sense. And then they did it the way they did it with Io doesn't even qualify for the chamber. And it's like, what? And then they're having the match on Raw, which we all were like, well, Rhea's just going to win that. Yeah. But then she didn't. And it's like, oh, what the hell? And now, you know, still now to this point, it's like, well, Rhea's not even involved in the title match at Mania anymore. And then it's like, okay, well, I don't know. It's very weird, which I like though, because one of the things I very much appreciate from the Triple H style of booking is he has multiple people being involved with multiple different things.
Yeah, a lot of crossover.
Yes. Action. Yes. And like, I like that. Yeah. And like when we were going into the chamber, previewing the chamber, like as we were getting closer and doing the final preview, I was like, I don't think she's going to win. But of all the women in this chamber match, Alexa Bliss is the only one that doesn't have other shit going on.
Yeah.
The rest of them all have other things they're dealing with. And it made me almost think that maybe Alexa Bliss was going to shock the world and win because she didn't. And it's like that part of it, I appreciate that he does it that way because they're around so many people. Like you're gonna, it's not like you're just, we all work, we all have had jobs and work. We just don't have one relationship with one coworker and not other stuff going, you know what I mean? So like it makes sense. I just appreciate that, I appreciate that. And then one thing I did want to dive in as well is like, I feel like another thing that Triple H has done a really good job of is build the mid card. And he has a bunch of guys and girls, but he has a bunch of guys in the mid card, in upper mid, all the way around. You got a mid card that's full. Jacob Fatu, LA Knight, Damian Priest, Drew McIntyre. You have all these people, and some things for WrestleMania are shaping up for them, but the other ones we're only 5 weeks out, and it's still like, okay, well, what's Braun Breaker in the IC title doing at WrestleMania? Are we going to have he's kind of been feuding with AJ Styles, but then he's also messing with the Judgment Day, and then him and Penta had a little thing where they look
now Logan and AJ Styles.
Yeah, and then it's Logan and AJ. Now it's like, is this going to be a big multi-man thing, or are we going to be getting a lot of mid-card, not for titles matches? So I mean, it's a good problem to have. But I think of a guy like Penta. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, Penta's red hot. He's been red hot since he's been there. They've really not, I keep on saying it's because it's baseball season, but I'm saying knocked it out of the park a lot. But like they've crushed him. They've crushed his debut in sense. Yeah. He's just super duper superstar. But what's he doing at WrestleMania?
I have an idea with that. If Rey Fenix comes in before WrestleMania, they are tagging for the tag titles at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
On Raw.
Yeah. It's DIY or the.
Oh, you said Raw.
Raw.
I think a money match at SummerSlam.
Why am I blanking on who the Raw tag champs are?
Raiders,
War Raiders.
Yeah, that's
War
right.
Raiders.
Oh my God.
I think you have a multi-man match for the tag titles at Mania. You do War Raiders. You can do the Lucha Brothers if Phoenix is there, but if not,
I think he will be by then. I think they're going to try to lock that up before because, like, why wouldn't you? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I think a money program heading into SummerSlam are heel New Day as champs and the Lucha Brothers chasing them for those titles. I think on Raw that would be as good a tag team feud as we've gotten over there for a while. Yeah. Like I think that would be a money match at SummerSlam if they went that way. But yeah, I think about guys like that, like Braun Breaker. You know what I mean? Like what I think about guys that have had really strong years in the mid card that have kind of built up. And LA Knight just won back the U.S. title for the second time. What's he doing at wrestling? Like, are we just going to get a bunch of because we already have 2 triple threats potentially with people at the top of the card, right? So are we going to be getting a bunch? Is this going to be a WrestleMania where there's 4 or 5 multi-team, multi-man, multi-women matches? Or are we going to get the standard fare where it's like, hey, if you don't make it, you don't make it. You know what I mean?
I have a theory on that because, for everybody watching that doesn't know my content, I'm very much a fantasy booker. Like I love it. I love like the history of wrestling and I tie it together with fantasy booking. And it's like, I just love doing it.
Yeah.
WrestleMania 41 will be the 20th anniversary of the first Money in the Bank ladder match from WrestleMania 21.
That'd be nice.
They could do like a 20th anniversary, like kind of thing where they do like a 7-man ladder match. I don't know, for the Intercontinental Championship or the U.S. title or even both. Maybe they do ladder matches for both titles.
Oh, like they did with the tag titles. Like you can do it with those. Whoever wins them, wins them.
Yeah. And I don't know. There's a lot of, like on Raw, you have Braun Breaker. I think AJ and Logan is going to be its own match.
I think so. I think so.
On Raw, you have Braun Breaker, you have Ludwig, you have Finn, Penta is not Dom.
Yeah, throw him in there.
Two more. Who's two more? Pete Dunne and Sheamus.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then on SmackDown, my theory is let Jimmy Uso win the U.S. title. And after Jay wins the title, they have like a brother moment in the ring, like that Eddie Benoit from WrestleMania 20. They're both holding titles. They're hugging. They finally did it. Have them each hold a championship. I think that'd be a cool moment. But they're doing something with Jimmy as a singles guy. So like, I don't know.
Especially after last year where that match fell
that match was a dud.
To kind of work us back that way. That's not a bad idea.
There's a lot of options on the table for them right now. It's a matter of like, this is the amount of time we have. How do we fit it in? So it's not too much, but it's like tasteful, you know?
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
While you're in the chat, smash that like button. Feel like get your comment read on the air. Leave a super chat. Joey, we got to talk, buddy. Forgot to mention this earlier. I didn't want to do this in front of company, but you're stealing my gimmick. You were at the office on Tuesday night.
Yeah, I saw it. So I remember seeing yours, and I was like, was it him? I don't know if it was him. I didn't remember who said it. And I'm pretty sure it was you, because I remember seeing like the profile picture just popped up, and I was like, it was definitely him. But I'm not going to like tag him, because if it wasn't him, then I look dumb. But I tagged Rick, and he was like, that's hysterical, man.
Yeah, Rick, listen here, bud.
I had to separate you two at the Rumble. Not you two, but you and Rick. PLUGGO.
So speaking of, that's a perfect segue, because she is our profile graphic. She is a two-time or double champ, not even two-time, double champ. Stephanie Vaquero, you were in the house. What was the vibe like at MSG on Tuesday night?
Dude, she was the talk of the building. That was what everybody was raving about. They were booing Julia.
Oh,
crazy.
Yeah.
I couldn't really hear that because we were watching along, so I didn't really hear but that's nuts.
Yeah. There was cheers for Stephanie before the show started. Any chance they showed her on the screen or they said her name, like crazy. The
vibe that I've been getting since she's shown up in NXT is the first time I saw her, I was like, okay. And then you watch her in the ring and you're like, to me, she's someone who I'm like, no, I'm not even being half joking. Like, she could be the biggest star in the women's division. And like at any moment that they wanted to do that with her. Yeah. Like if she goes to the main roster, like she is going to be the way she looks, the way she wrestles, the way she presents herself with the music, the horns, the outfit. Like she is, her move set, everything about her screams super duper star to me.
I know, Mrs. Pluggo, super duper star.
Exactly.
I agree. Screams, hi, honey. She says, hella fellas. I don't know if that means we have hella fellas on the screen or she misspelled hello.
There are three. There is, we have three.
But she is the superstar of my world. She's got all the goods. Mrs. Pluggo, what's good? But yeah, like you were in the house for that. I was on the fence. I still don't know if it was the right decision to make her a double champ this early, just because they have such a deep roster. You could have had quite a few like banger matches for the North American Women's title, because like JPJ said yesterday, it's a new championship. It's like 7 months old.
It's not that.
At the end of the day, it's dope as hell that she's the future, that they see her that highly, because it's never happened on the women's side. For
Keith
sure.
I think on the men's.
Yeah.
Keith Lee did it. And there was who else?
Karen Cross, right? Before he got hurt? Was it Cross? Definitely Keith Lee. Was he the only one?
Yeah, it might have been
the only one.
It might have been. But either way, it's cool. I loved it. I thought the match ruled. I think that those two are fantastic. I hope that she defends that.
Yeah. Well, Spencer, which I assume behind the
I don't
curtain,
want that.
This is exactly what I don't want to happen.
Here you go, Sean.
I don't, because that women's North American title to me has not been around long enough.
Yeah, you can't really.
It does not have the legacy.
Well, they'll probably do a stand and deliver ladder match for it.
Whatever, however they want to do it. But like, I think that title is so new that if she shows up next Tuesday and goes, "Hey, I'm the double champ. Okay, this one doesn't matter. I want to keep this one." That title is dead.
Well, it would make no sense as to why they had the champion versus champion match.
Maybe she keeps the North American title and throws us all. This road to WrestleMania has been insane.
Yeah, so
I'm going to the main roster.
Like, I don't want either one. I'm going after Chelsea Green.
Yeah, but Joey kind of I have been thinking about it since Tuesday because I'm like, I really and Spencer's right. That's what Keith Lee did. Keith Lee 100% just gave away the North American title. Now I don't want that to happen when it comes to the women's one. But you just kind of mentioned something. I think you get to stand and deliver. You have a triple threat, or even if you still wanted to throw Roxanne in there. But what about Julia, Stephanie, and Jordan Grace in a triple threat ladder match, both titles? But like, let's just say they do it in a way that like kind of what they did, like we talked about just now with, if you get the North American title, you're the North. If you get both, you're both. But if you get the North American champ, you're the North American, kind of something like that, where you can have a multi-women match with 3 or 4 of them. You can get 2 new champions out of it, but Vicaire goes in as still
the only problem with that is that the person that got up to the ladder first would take the
exactly. So I'm just like, I don't know how you get away from it.
Which I don't hate the idea, but it's just like either way you swing it, whether she's got to defend it for a while for it to matter. You got to defend it.
To kind of backtrack a little bit, I wasn't a fan of this match happening at all. I thought it was too soon, like you said. I was like, this is like, it's too soon. They individually just recently won those titles, like too soon to put it on one. But obviously the rumors are there's Julia is injured or there's visa issues. Something was going on as to why they took the title off of her. It wasn't like, oh, this is what we planned for kind of thing.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, obviously we hope that she, is good and everything.
Oh, of course.
I think what happens is she defends both at Stand and Deliver, but loses one. I think she drops the North American Championship to Jordan Grace.
See, that's why I threw Jordan Grace.
Jordan goes on a great run with that title until she gets called up at some point, maybe next year or SummerSlam time, maybe, I don't know.
Now I know Joey is an avid fantasy booker, and I know JPJ dabbles in fantasy booking.
Oh, I do.
And this got me thinking. On the main roster, we now have mid-card titles.
Sure do.
We've seen Becky 2 belts. We've seen the role models have the WWE championships and a tag title. Who do you think would be the first woman to hold a world championship and a mid-card title in this era? Charlotte Flair.
I mean, look, it's probably the safest bet.
I wouldn't want that to be the case.
I wouldn't either, but at some point they're going to do it. Is there anybody on the roster that you think could do it?
I don't think they would do it just because the reasoning for having those titles is because they have too many women on the main roster. So it's like it kind of defeats the purpose of the point of having them.
Yeah.
Plus, again, like you guys said before, it's too soon. Like those titles are so new that to do that already is like,
I don't think they'll do it next week, but it was just something I was like, who would be the first one? Would it be like a Becky Lynch or like
I was gonna say Bianca Belair to me seems like
one of
those,
like a Rhea Ripley?
Rhea. But no, I could see someone doing. They used to
How about this? Chelsea Green just wins the world championship and keeps her United States champion because she's the best.
There you go.
I would love them to do what TNA does, where if you win, I think it's like the X Division Championship.
Option C.
Yeah, you can change. You can
to give that title back, to vacate it, and then that's your opportunity for the world title.
Yeah,
I would love to see that done with. Like
the NWA does like 7 defenses of the television title, and then you can cash it in if you successfully do it 7 times.
All right.
They do something like I don't know if they still do that, but back when I was watching Power, they would do that where you like.
So if you defended it a certain amount of times, they considered like, okay, you've done.
You can go. You know what?
Champion.
Boom, 7 times. I'm taking my world title opportunity, and I'm relinquishing the belt. That could be an interesting.
Yeah,
I like fantasy booking with Joey.
I mean, look I love fantasy booking. I get fantasy booking all day.
There's one thing that like bothers me so badly about those mid-card titles and I was hoping that it would happen. Back to the fantasy booking stuff. I wanted, and after watching her interview on Ariel Helwani the other day, so excited for her book coming out in October. I wanted Natalya to be the Intercontinental Champion so bad. Like, you know, she is the Iron Woman of WWE. She's been there the longest. She's got like all these accolades of like the most matches on Raw, the most matches on SmackDown, like most matches in general or at a pay-per-view, whatever the hell it is.
Fastest loss. R.I.P. to Aaliyah.
Yeah. Fastest loss. All these world records, right?
Yeah.
If they would have done this storyline where she kind of like gives up, she loses and she just gives up. Like she's like crying in the ring and she's like, I'm over this. Like I've given my life to this and I just can't get ahead. And then she goes on this like this kind of natty tour where now she's going to NWA. Now she's going to
she's a GCW.
She's doing Bloodsport. She's doing Bloodsport.
I would love to see her show up at these other places and start getting some wins and kind of build to this moment. You could say WrestleMania, it's kind of cliche, but like where she becomes really the Iron Woman of the division, wins the Intercontinental Championship, and now like she's established again, but also that title is elevated because you put it on somebody who's got like great history.
I was gonna say the bloodline.
Yeah.
A different bloodline, but
I like your idea of like if she's like broken down in the ring and then like Lila Valkyrie or something comes to her, it's like, you're not done yet, you know, the champ. And she's like, no, come on, you know, and then all of a sudden,
I'll see you in like 4 months.
Yeah. And like if they did something like that, because the way that I looked at it, yeah, she's facing Masha.
Is she?
By the way, as well.
Like make it like a retirement tour, but it's not a retirement tour.
Or Natty.
Believe that it is.
Yeah.
No disrespect to Natty, but Masha's a killer, man.
We had some people when the tournaments were actually happening. We had some people in our chats that were rooting for Natalya to get there because look at, she is the workhorse of the women's division. And my thing was, my thing was the booking that they've done with Natalya, if anything, over the last few years, like it felt like it would be out of nowhere to me because they haven't given her obviously her career is but you know what I mean. You know what I'm trying to say.
If you guys haven't yet, watch that interview with Ariel Helwani from the other day.
Well, I like Ariel.
Literally the other day, dude. She was in tears, man. And she's like literally saying like I wanted to sign with WWE again. Like I wanted to resign, but like I'm not getting anything. I'm not going to I've had so many partners and yada, yada, yada. And she mentioned Maxine and it's like, she just wants more. She goes, I sleep in a nice bed at night, but I don't sleep well.
Still hungry. You love it.
She goes, I have a ring in my house. I have the dungeon because I want more.
Yeah.
Like it was really like I got like choked up like watching it because like she really loves this. And she's like, it's not being given to her.
Yeah.
The opportunities are not there. And I don't know.
And
I think
she was like before her time, man.
If
she would have been coming around now, we'd be like, holy shit, Natalya's up bad. I'm not saying she's not.
Yeah, but she's like obviously she's been doing it for a long time, but like she's still here. Like
I know, but they don't. But at this,
like, that's what. Yeah, the way they don't.
But what I'm saying is the way they booked her over the course is like. Let's be completely honest. We all love Natty on this channel. We stand for Natty. We don't say unkind words. But when she gets into a program, it's because we know, nobody cares as much as maybe they should. If she was debuting now, we'd be like, oh my God, she's fantastic.
They can make her a killer now.
Yeah, they do something. They got
every week she comes out, she puts somebody in a sharpshooter, and they tap out. Like make her a force to be reckoned with. Make that move means something again. Make that last name like elevate her.
That's my thing about it. If she's chasing the IC title and she's leaning into how much the IC title means to her family's history with Brett and Owen and Davey Boy and all these people in her family that were IC champs, and they lean into that story, that is how you make people care about that. That would be a story that someone like me, I would be all about it because I grew up with Bret Hart as my IC champion when I first started watching wrestling, and Owen and all these guys. So I know what her family is, and I know her career, and I know how much the IC title means to her family because I saw it mean a lot to her family. So like, I feel like if they were to do something like that, and maybe that, and I think that was the part that was missing from me from the tournament when people were telling me they wanted Natty to win. I was like, okay. I was like, but there's no story of what, like, I know the story they should tell.
Yeah.
But they're not telling us a story of why Natty wants to win the IC title.
I don't want to do apples.
Apples
and oranges. Put it on Lyra, and nobody knows who Lyra is.
Exactly, too.
Well, like, remember when Jeff Jarrett cut one promo in the Owen Hart tournament, and everybody was like, that's the guy we want to win this thing.
And now where the hell is he?
Right, but I'm saying, like, you did that with Natty, which is fine with me. I'm not a Jeff Jarrett guy, but even he sold me a ticket to be winning at least the first match of that Owen Hart tournament. Yeah. I didn't have him winning it, but I'm saying, like, you did do something like that with Natty in that tournament and at least get people going, get people excited about her, but they just don't. And I don't.
Not even about her. Like, it elevates the championship. It makes people want to watch the championship be defended. Let me tell you, when Lyra comes out on Raw, when that title is on the line, do you hear anybody in the crowd?
Not when she comes out. No, I feel like she's done a good job during the matches because she's so good in there. Yeah. That by the end she's won. Like, the crowd is excited about the results.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's still not getting because. And here's my thing: as good as she is in the ring, and I think she's very good. She's very powerful for someone her side. Like, her moveset is very powerful. But like, I still don't know who she is.
That's what I'm saying. The crowd doesn't know who she is.
Yeah,
and this title is new to the division. It's a like they're setting it up for failure in a sense. Nobody cares because nobody knows.
Yeah, I need more of a character. Like,
she's only defended it. Like,
I know you're from. Maybe? I know you're from Ireland. I know you're a great wrestler, but like, I don't know anything else about you as a character. Like, I don't know literally anything besides the fact that you like birds. That's kind of is that
the character, or is it like
Birds of Prey? Boot stop clap.
Clap. Yeah.
I know. A lot of it's very confusing, and it's like if you look back to her days in NXT, like it was the same thing in NXT. What made her really popular was that feud with Becky.
Yeah,
for that title.
Put her over. Yeah.
Which on the flip side, the other mid-card title, we all know who Chelsea Green is and what she's about, and they're presenting her
character. Her character is salute to her, Like,
100%. The longest reigning WWE,
the youngest, oldest,
youngest, of all time. Yeah. But we did mention a couple references in there about AEW, and they had a massive pay-per-view over the weekend.
And I watched it.
I was very excited because you last time. I don't think you watched the one because we had you on around another one. You're like, you watched this
AEW.
Yeah. So what made you decide to watch Revolution then?
I had a feeling. I don't know. I just had like I saw the stir on social media and I saw the card and a lot of the matches. See, that's the thing with AEW. Weekly, they're hit or miss, mostly misses. And that's not a knock. It's just, it is what it is. I'm a fan of wrestling. I don't like one or more than the other. It is what it is. WWE is more consistent with their weekly programming. AEW, it's like 1 week you're like, that was great. And then you're like, well, I don't know about this or where that's going. Their pay-per-views are the most consistent thing. They're going to be good.
Yeah.
They're long, but they're good.
So instead of breaking down everything, like because we're going to talk about a lot of it here, what stood out from a non-AEW like religious watcher? What stood out most to you? Which match did you think was like
the Hollywood ending?
The Hollywood ending.
Should have been the main event.
I was gonna ask. I think that was on my number one as well.
Yeah, like the way they ended that match with Tony gets the 3 count. The graphics on there, it says the end. They pan out and she's like hugging her, but she's really not. She's kind of like just there.
Yeah. Well, she looks up
like both dead
and then she looks at her and then she just kind of nestles on her, know, and it's like,
imagine that being the end of the show and they pan out and then the show's over. And then
I just killed you, but I love you. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like I still love you, but
end of your story finally.
And then they just go credits. It would have been perfect.
Yes.
Yeah.
But instead,
she is. I would say she is one of, if not one of the biggest pillars in that company. They're always talking about pillars. I don't know where all those pillars are now. They're like,
I'll tell you who the pillars are now.
Jack's off TV. Yeah. Sammy's in Ring of Honor, but I don't know.
Yeah,
MJF is still MJF, and then.
But I'm over that.
Darby Allin is Darby Allin's climbing Mount Everest.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it's not.
My thing is right now. I look out there, and here's who it is, guys. It's Swerve, it's Hangman, it's Will Ospreay, it's Tony Storm.
Absolutely.
Like those are the 4 people, and obviously you have Kenny Omega who can still go, but he's older. Those to me are the 4 people that is the next 5 years.
I love what they're doing with Will Ospreay. Yeah, big part of why I support AEW and I watch when it looks like the card is going to be good. I think that is, you put the company on his back. Now you are building new stars, and I would say it would be a new era for them if they were to push him as the guy. And you have Kyle Fletcher coming up. You have you kind of rebranded Hangman in a way. There's a lot of guys and girls there that that has so much potential. Swerve, I love what they did with Swerve, building him as who he is. But it's like he already was the world champion. You know what I mean? Like you're gonna do it this close again.
Yeah,
that's not gonna be the case.
That's too perfect. I will say Revolution, we do this thing, or maybe I do this thing where we always sometimes we're like the TV, it's been pretty good the last 6 months to a year, it's been pretty solid stuff. Yeah. But we're like, oh, this pay-per-view, man, this is the Revolution. But this was they didn't do any frills with big returns or big debuts or anything. They were like, these are our people. Yep. Watch what we can do. And I think
to focus on.
Yeah, and that's what I think, and we talk about that all the time. We're focus on what you've got. Don't worry about what you don't, or what you just do. And I think they did a great job. Obviously, I think the main event. Now, I will say this: I am of the belief that main event did not suck.
I agree.
It was just at the
should not have been there.
AEW needs to get out of their own way and say, hey, there's things bigger than our AEW World Champion, which that AEW Women's World Champion was bigger. They should have moved it around because we had Kenny and Takeshita.
The cage match last, if you want.
Yeah, Kenny and Takeshita crushed it. Then you had Tony and Mariah. Then you had that cage match with Will Ospreay and Fletcher. Nothing Cope and Mox would have done in that spot outside of murdering one another, literally, would have been bigger.
Yeah.
That was my only complaint. And Christian losing, I'm okay with that too.
100%.
The way he explained it last night, though, made no fucking sense.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I told the ref it was a one-on-one match with Cope. Why? Cope didn't have the title yet.
Yeah,
dude.
he's not the champ at that moment, so that doesn't matter.
Anyway, I had to get that off my chest.
So I did a react show here on Love Wrestling right after that, and I get it. I got what the vibe was of that main event, but I came on here and I said the same thing to Drew when I was talking to him. I said, because Drew was very negative on it, and he was like, terrible, man. I'm like, that was not, listen, I go, if that match went on first, we would not have complained about that match. I go, no, that's fine. Wrestling is subjective. But I don't think that was a terrible, bad match. I think that match was fine. Was it good? No.
It was obviously the worst match of the night.
Yes, but I thought it was a fine match. I think if it wasn't in that spot, main eventing the show after the 3-match stretch that we just got with Tony and Mariah, Takeshita and Kenny, and that cage match, I don't think people are as negative on it as they are.
I don't know if anybody.
I think that added to the negativity of it.
I personally thought I'm Edge isn't, or Adam Cope, whatever the hell is it? Cope.
Cope.
He's in my top 6 of all time. I loved Edge, the Rated R Superstar. That 2006 run, WWE champion, all that stuff. I loved it. With that said, this was a slow-paced match.
It was.
And being for your world title, the point of the world title is these are the best. This is the best of us. They are the world champion. But this is the world champion. This is the world championship match. This is what we look to be like. to strive for better, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Moxley didn't look strong in that match. He hasn't for a few weeks. Cope looked slow. He missed some moves that, you know, the paradigm shift is he didn't even like go down for a DDT. It was
that was weird. That was
very odd.
Yeah.
Now there are certain cases where that's okay, where like if you are planning this huge finish, you can have a crappy match because they're going to remember the huge finish, right? It just it's psychology. They didn't have any of that. You know, like I personally saw Cope winning
and Christian Cash
finally being done with these Death Rider things.
Yeah.
Cope celebrating. He finally did it. World champion. He came back in 2020. 5 years took him to be the world champion.
Christian.
And out of nowhere, he's holding that title. And then you see him like he goes down face first. Christian Cage is behind him with that clipboard Money in the Bank thing that they have.
Yeah.
Like clocks him in the neck, takes him out. 1, 2, 3. Christian Cage is the new world champion. And now you build to a triple threat. Mox, Cope, Christian. The winner goes on to get Swerve somewhere down the line. That's where my mind goes.
Yeah.
And I think that's where a lot of people's mind went as well.
I thought Christian was going to leave as the champ for sure. Like, I thought that was the thing. I was like, I feel like we can't just continue to go down the same path of this Death Riders thing because the crowd's just not clicking with it. And they changed up the ending by getting Christian involved. And like, I'm not even super upset that Christian lost the way he did.
Because they've been building him to this moment and now they just wasted it.
Yeah.
Like they've been building him since that TNT title run that he was one of the most popular guys.
Yeah.
Banger after banger after banger. And then they built this faction around him. He's the dad or whatever the hell he is, the father. And like everybody was loving it. And then like he disappeared and it was kind of like, okay, when is he going to come back and cash in?
Yeah, out of sight, out of mind. So
and then in like 2 minutes, it was just done with. It looks like Tony Khan decided, you know what? I don't want to do this. Let's just get rid of it quickly and move on.
Yeah.
That's kind of what it felt.
Which we kind of talked about that last week a little bit too, was like maybe they don't, because that was a problem. It kept looming over them, right? Like, what do we do? What do we do here? And then you start this Mox Death Riders thing. Yeah. And I gotta be honest, if I'm being honest, like you kind of alluded to it a little bit. Cope, I mean, ever since he's come back, he just doesn't look the same.
Yeah.
And then I'm not saying that in a bad way. It's just maybe he's still getting up, like, you know, maybe he's, and I don't know, because I'm not a wrestler, so I don't. But that fall from the cage broke his. Maybe he's like questioning it. I don't know. There's just something about it was like, the match isn't terrible, but I gotta get. And then they're doing the street fight next week because they want to make up for what happened here.
Yeah, they're
giving Christian's gonna get involved in that too. But
tell me that you didn't think the fans weren't gonna like this.
That's my thing.
If you think that they were going to love it, fire your creative team.
Yeah. You know, there is no Tony's the creative team.
Well,
can't fire the boss.
Yeah,
but no, and that's why I said
maybe they wanted this disaster, like to look like a disaster, so they can give you.
And I almost think that that's kind of like the way that this keeps going, because I feel like for the last couple pay-per-views, when me and Pluggo talk about what we think, we're like, they can't keep going on with this Death Rider stuff. Like, everyone doesn't like it.
They just don't know where to end it.
So like, the fans hate it. The fans talk on social about it. Let's keep going until they
look at it. It gets.
Who does that sound like?
So what? Yeah, exactly. So what if that is the thing?
He who may not be mentioned.
Yeah, maybe they do know the end game still, and they're like, you know what? We're going to keep on doing this so the fans get angrier and angrier and angrier. And then when we finally do it, and Wrestler A is the savior of AEW, he's liked I don't think that's a smart thing to do.
I'll say this: and if Swerve's if they don't do it with Swerve, right there is nuclear. In that,
now I'm nervous.
So here's where my fantasy booking cap goes back on. It comes on and off very quickly. So you have that match at Revolution. how I would have done it is Cope, like I said, Cope wins. Christian cashes in. Christian's the champion. You go to a triple threat match. Christian retains. You go to a one-on-one Christian versus Cope. Cope gets the title back. Right?
Yeah.
Cope goes on to face Swerve. Cope wins. Cope then goes on to Ospreay and passes the torch.
Fair. Yeah, it feels like at All In, Ospreay.
That's what I would have done. That's how I would have booked it. It gives you a good amount of time to kind of build these other things you want to build to. Everybody gets their hand in the world title pot. Christian cashes in. It means something to win that contract. Not like what they did. Swerve gets his match. Cope gets his match with Swerve because this is one of the guys he wants to face.
Yeah. They teased it last night too. They teased it.
He's like, hey, young buck.
He's like, my neck hurts. My neck hurts.
My neck and my back.
It could be me.
I'm coming for you.
It could be me. Yeah, I just think for me, it was, and I'm somebody who watches AEW weekly.
Yeah. I try, to be honest with you. Like, I want to like it because I like a lot of the talent there. Like, there's so much to invest in. I just feel like maybe my mind is so like wired WWE. You know what I mean? Yeah. I love TNA. Yeah. And it's different. But I feel like because AEW has tried so hard to be like WWE and then they revert back from it and then they go back to it and it's kind of like they can't decide.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's true.
Like there's so many things I want to like, but when it's executed, I'm like, I'm never watching again because you make me feel like you think that the fan is stupid the way, like what you're given, how you're ending the show. Yeah.
That was my thing. More, not so much how the match, could it have been a better match? Absolutely. But
but the finish is what was important.
Yeah. The finish was what was important. And it's like, when you look at that card and you're setting up that card and you know how you're booking this show with your agents and things like that, like, unless you're doing it on purpose, how can you not read the room and like understand that's not going to go well?
And also, they didn't put a time limit on this Christian cash-in thing. Just don't do it. Just have Mox and Cope go before Tony and Mariah.
Yeah.
Don't do the cash-in there. If you're gonna do this street fight on Wednesday, so this is where like I think you're getting at, Joey, is like, we know why you're doing the street fight on Wednesday now. If you had this planned out for months, have Christian cash in there where there's no rules. He can do whatever he wants. It's a street fight, and do it there on your TV show. And we still get the match, and people still probably would have said, it wasn't the best match in the world, but we wouldn't have been like, what a dog shit finish to ruin the night. Because that's their prop. Sometimes they get too cute and the ending, and that's all we're talking about.
Yeah, like we should have
left the process.
Yes.
Step by step, if they did it how you just said.
We should have left AEW Revolution
being like, holy shit.
On a high, being like, holy shit.
Yes.
Takeshita and Omega, and look at MJF and Hangman. I loved, like, there were so many good majority.
That match was perfect because it's the beginning, I think, of a bigger thing. So it didn't need to be Fletcher and Ospreay. And people were like, it was perfect to start. And the only matches that didn't really hit was the main event, and maybe the Outrunners and the Hurt Syndicate.
That match could have
too long. Way too long.
You just reminded me.
Way too long.
You just reminded me.
Oh, sorry.
That tag team title match should have been on the 0 hour or on Dynamite or Collision, right?
Give me the Rizzler on 0. Give me
why the hell was Adam Cole baby on the 0 hour?
Yeah.
First off, calling it the 0 hour is kind of a slap in the face to whoever's on there. Like, you're on the 0 show.
Wow. I've never thought about that at all.
Like, why do you call it the 0 hour?
I assume it's some like ref. Is it a ref?
Well, it's kind of like like the college football season has week 0.
Yeah,
I don't know. Maybe,
but like, isn't like 0 hour like if you're going to do a big mission or you're going? It's like, oh, it's 0 hour. Like we're right upon it. I think, right?
who's that guy that they had on? I watched the 0 hour.
Big Boom
It was
AJ?
an hour and a half, and I was like, this is way too freaking long for a pre-show.
I agree.
Like, it should have only been an hour, 45 minutes. I was like, 6:30 p.m., let's go. Show's on soon. And they're like, the countdown, an hour 45. I was like, what the hell?
Yeah, that's a long time.
What is on this 0 hour?
The Rizzler had to get his shit in, Joey. The Riz man.
They had that guy, Paul, the actor that comes on.
Paul Hauser.
Paul Hauser, who's now an executive producer at MLW.
Yes, I heard that.
Shout out.
Yeah, he was there, and he said, "Why do they call it the 0 hour? They should call it like something else, like the power hour." He said, "The power hour."
That'd be good.
And what about that actress saying like, "What I learned about wrestling is that the wrestlers know what's going to happen before everybody else does," and she was like so proud of herself. I was like, killing the business.
My favorite.
She said it on the 0 hour, and then she said it live to the crowd.
And everybody ate her alive.
Oh, I know. I kind of felt bad for her. I was like, listen, yes, was it the smartest thing to say? No. But we all knew that. Come on.
Somebody should have said
that quote was said in the movie.
Oh, is that what it is?
Why she said it.
Okay.
But
my favorite.
Movie 2 hours long. I'm sure you can find another quote to use
or say like
it's screened by somebody backstage before you say it.
Or she should have said like this is actually like a very tough thing to do.
Yeah. My favorite thing that came of that was Jeremy Lambert, our pal Jeremy Lambert from Fightful. After she said that, he tweeted and he said, "I'm way less excited for this main event right now that lady told me that they know who wins." That made me laugh.
It is Paul Walter Hauser, not Walker Hauser, as I like to call him. You're
whatever
right.
the hell his name is.
I call him Paul Walker because Paul Walter Hauser does a lot of independent stuff.
Yeah, so we saw him in Indy. He did a
We saw him in Indy. And then he's always doing independent stuff, so we cover him quite a bit here. But I always say Paul Walker Hauser and everybody else. But I can't help it.
Paul Walker. Paul Walker is a legend. It's a legend.
He is.
Paul Walker.
I don't know. I just I want the best for AEW because listen, nobody's ever been able to come in and compete with WWE at that level and also be an alternative.
Yeah.
So like they are doing something right, but I just feel like they need some help somewhere with like step by step because wrestling fans today are smarter than they've ever been. A lot of the business is transparent now. So they know when you're giving them bullshit. They know when this was thrown together to rewrites during the day, or they know where this is long game months ago planning.
Yeah.
For the most part, they know.
Yeah.
So like that main event, it kind of like, at least for me, it like you want to leave your fans going home happy because at the end of the day, that's the part that they're going to remember most, how they went home. And for me, it was like, they think that we're stupid by giving us that crap main event. Like for someone who paid to watch that pay-per-view, that's how you send your fans home. Like it just, it wasn't like, that's like being invited. You're invited to a dinner party and then like they throw the food at you and say, get out.
Yeah. It was just
at least you still got the food, right?
Yeah, it was a weird vibe. Like, no. It was a weird vibe. It was a weird vibe.
No, it's like them putting a 5-star meal in front of you and pulling it away at the last minute and going,
well, the whole show was pretty good.
Oh, the whole show was very good, I thought.
Very good show.
Started off hot with MJF and Hangman.
Yes.
Real good stuff there. That feud is continuing, which that's just a money feud for them. Those are two guys that are the guys. Wow. Drew in the chat says Joey should be on here more. He makes the most sense out of everyone.
Thank you.
That's my firmly.
And here I was about to say something nice about you, Drew. What the?
Yeah, I know. Glad you were sick this week. Unbelievable.
You know what it is? Maybe because I'm not like I'm like an in and out AEW.
That's probably you can look at it from more cleansed eyes. You know?
I love this. I love the differencing of an opinion of it. And I love having these discussions because you're coming at it from a place of like, I want this to succeed. You're not like
Yes.
like a lot of the internet trolls that are like, I don't watch it, but I know it sucks, because that's not how this works.
I like WWE, so that has to fail. Like
exactly,
right.
Shit,
And
I can't. Yeah.
When we have Warren Hayes on, and he's more of an AEW guy, Joshi guy than WWE guy. So I love having that, because I don't think that anything you're saying is wrong. I had a different experience. I do agree that main event could have been a lot better, but no, like I was going to bring that up because I saw that quite a bit this week, where everybody was like, blah blah blah, AEW false finish this, false finish that, but we see that on Raw too. We see that on WWE too. It's just it is an alternative to WWE. It's not supposed to be the same, but they do have a tendency, like you said, to kind of go in and out of what they want to do. Drew, we love you.
Yeah, of course. Drew knows a lot.
But
like, but you said
I love Drew now too.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
I bet you did.
Over, man. No, but I thought all in all, it was a really, really good pay-per-view. I thought, like I said, the opener was strong with Hangman and MJF. I thought Mercedes had another good match. Momo. She's on a string of good matches.
Did she get a bruise on her face? Or was it looked like she did. Or was it just lighting? Because when she's talking to Billy, I couldn't tell.
No, I think
it looked like
she
a bruise.
Took one of those kicks to.
And by the way, this just decided next week, episode 200 is going to be the Joe Karni show. We're just going to quit.
That's it. That's it.
Drew, thanks, Drew.
Yeah. They had a good match. I don't think the tag match hit, but then, Ricochet and Swerve was very good.
Dude,
to crown the number one contender.
Impressed with that match. Like, I'm surprised I forgot. Like, see, that's how you know the show was good, because there were so many good matches. Yeah. I completely forgot about that one, but that
one was great. That was so good.
I love how they, like, when the whole thing with Ricochet started happening, I was like, what is this?
He's
garbage. What is this? With that, like, I was like, what is this? Now I was like, this is how Ricochet was booked in NXT. This is how Ricochet needs to be booked. And now that he's got some charisma, to the moon. Yeah.
It's like when they first turned him heel, I was kind of like, oh, because the only Ricochet that I've really ever known is WWE NXT Ricochet, and he was much better in NXT than he was in WWE, but he's never really had like a full-on like character like this. Like, this is a legitimate.
I think the deepest character I remember him getting was when he did the stuff with Velveteen Dream.
Yeah, that was right at the beginning, kind of.
They let him do a little bit more, and then they kind of, for some reason, like, nope, we're not going to let you talk anymore.
Let him do it with Logan Paul when he had that match at SummerSlam, and it started to show some charisma. But like, Logan was dragging him and Samantha down, and Ricochet could not come back with anything.
Yeah.
He probably could have came back with some stuff, but maybe anything he wasn't allowed to say.
That could be it too.
Logan, you can drag Logan, but I think WWE's and like, we're not going to touch some of that.
Yeah, stuff. I don't know. It's like now they're allowing him to be who he is, and I think that it's definitely working.
Yeah, absolutely. And that match was great. And then, like we talked about, the trios of matches. I even thought Okada and Brody King was really good. It was short, but that was really good too.
I didn't care for that one, to be honest.
I love Brody King. I'm a sucker for.
I love Brody King.
I want him to win everything.
I would love to see him go on a war path as like a singles guy, like what we saw. But like, let him start racking up some wins.
Like wins. He needs to win. He needs to win. But that guy, that guy's special. And then we had those 3 matches back to back with Tony and Mariah. I mean, we talked about it briefly. The match of the night, like a year and a half, they told that story, and it was as perfect as you could probably get. And it was all the different iterations, everything they did, and then they have this violent massacre of the perfect Hollywood ending, and it was just a thing of beauty. And then you follow it up with Takeshita and Kenny Omega for the International Championship, and that was a different paced match, but it was just Takeshita is just, we kind of know what to expect from Kenny Omega at this point, right? You know what I mean? Yeah. And I think they're doing a good job leaning into his stomach and all the stuff like that. I think we can pull back a little bit from that a smidge, it's still a thing, but like he's back, right? He's the champ, he's the best. Yeah. But like Takeshita, man, holy crap, that guy is good. I don't think I've ever seen, or at least right now, I don't think I see anybody throw like better forearms or elbows in wrestling than
just beat the best wrestler in the world too.
Yeah, he sure did. Max Caster, he beat him in like 2 seconds. It was incredible. And then you have this cage match with Will Ospreay and Kyle Fletcher. And what a fucking match this was.
I absolutely loved it.
Holy crap.
Did it need that spot at the end? No. Did it help? Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Did I sit there the entire time going, all right, they can't possibly do anything else. Okay. All right. Oh shit. Oh God. No way. Oh, is that you just stabbed him with a screwdriver. Oh, it was nuts.
I have a question for you. Do you find that match to be a little sexual?
A little bit.
Kyle Fletcher, 1000%.
He was licking the screwdriver. He was
licking the cage with the blood on it.
Fletcher.
I was like, man, what is happening right now?
Yeah, he's a madman.
Yeah, because not only that, he comes out and he immediately they do the top of the cage spot. And he's wearing the boots that he wore when he bloodied him up last time, and then he was just like.
He was feeling himself.
He was vibing.
He was feeling himself that night.
Does he want to kill Ospreay? Does he kiss him? Like
that's another one of these things where it's like they love I think they love each other. But they're just at this point where it's like, we gotta have.
Yeah, and like
honestly, that's what makes the best rivalries.
And we talk about Mariah and Tony. There was heavy sexualism in that rivalry throughout some of that, where they were very romantic with each other, and you could tell, like, I think that made what happened at the end and just how that went even more, because you were like, they're not just like, mentor, mentee, best friends, like they love each other. And I think this was kind of the same thing, but obviously told in a different way.
The passion behind it is what made it.
The passion involved with like, this is more than just your regular old wrestling feud. Like, this is two people that genuinely care about each other, that this is what it's come to.
Now they just need to make it count, because I know they're going to put the world title on Ospreay at some point.
I agree.
Fletcher,
all in. He called a shot last night.
Make it count with Fletcher. Like, you're building him as this guy. He's beaten Ospreay before. Like, he can be like, I don't know where you put him, how you rank him in AEW, but like contender for Kenny or I don't know what you do, but
well, they threw the ranking system out, which is unfortunate. They should have stuck to that.
Yeah, because I think that they're gonna merge the two titles, right?
That it feels like Okada and Omega is going to be for they're going to make it one.
I thought Fletcher. I was pretty much on the side of. I picked Fletcher to win because I thought, okay, we know Will Ospreay is like bulletproof right now.
He's set.
He's set. You give Fletcher the rubber match win here, the 2-1 over Kenny. Then over Ospreay. You could run this back down the road and be like, hey, I got 2 on you to your 1. And Ospreay always has this, like, I couldn't get past Fletcher thing. Because I always like a wrestler that can't get quite past somebody. And I think it would have made Fletcher a huge star. He is going to be, and he is. But I think it would have put him on the map and go. And then Will just can get heated up whenever Will wants. So I don't know. But either way.
You could come back to it again for the world title at some point.
Yep.
Yeah, 100%.
Exactly. So
100%.
I loved it. I thought it was good. I know that it was kind of funny that we had the steel cage matches night, like at Revolution on Sunday, and then Raw did one on Monday, and they were two vastly different cage matches, but I thought both of them were fantastic. So to the internet that's comparing both of them, you can't really compare them because they're two different.
Compare them.
Yeah, but they were both awesome. We got spoiled this week, man.
Yeah. We did.
This week in wrestling has been just Sunday, Monday, Tuesday killed. Wednesday was pretty good last night. I mean, we get Sacrifice tomorrow as well.
Yeah.
And to quickly touch on that cage match from Raw.
Yeah, for sure.
I said at the beginning of the show, like, that match was so deliberately planned. Like, the big question everybody had was, why did Roman just help Seth win? Right? Mm-hmm. Why did he give him that win? Well, it's because Punk cost Roman the Royal Rumble. He eliminated him and Seth. So that was Roman getting costing Punk the match, right?
Yeah.
Then he took out Seth for taking him out. So he was even with both guys.
Yeah.
Now the story is, where does Heyman lie?
Yeah.
Like the way it was just placed to like end a story to build to now, what is the favor going to be? I personally think that favor is, I think at some point on SmackDown or Raw, Seth's going to come out. He's going to say, I want Roman one-on-one at WrestleMania. And Punk is going to be like, Paul, my favor now. I want in.
Yeah, that's what I originally thought would be. Like they would book it Roman versus Seth at first, and then Punk would use the favor to get in the match.
And I'm gonna need somebody to explain how Paul Heyman can just book matches. Pierce to see Pierce like, what the hell, man?
Pierce has no control.
Well, if you think about it, Paul's gonna go to Pierce and say, listen, Roman versus Seth is a big main event, but adding Punk to that, you put Raw on the map for one of the biggest matches.
That's true.
The show.
That's all I need. Just explain it. That's it. Yeah. No, hell yeah, dude. It's exciting stuff.
And before we get out of here in a few minutes, one thing I do have to add is, we are Love Wrestling. We are Love Pro Wrestling. Last night on AEW Dynamite, during that tournament to crown the new #1 contender, there was a wild card slot. And that wild card slot was filled, and you said you're a big TNA guy, by Speedball Mike Bailey, who are good friends with a lot of us here at Love Wrestling. He's wrestled in a Love Wrestling ring.
He's a sweetheart of a man, that Speedball Mike Brimley.
I've got to meet him multiple times. He's a great individual. And we've known that he was going there for a while, but it was so great to see him. He had a really, really good match with Beast Mortos. And then we saw him at the end of the show when Orange Cassidy won his match in the main event. Speedball kind of came out and ended the show, kind of pointing at Orange Cassidy and stuff like that. So I at least wanted to mention him because that was a kind of special, not even kind of, that was a special moment for obviously him and Veda Scott, who rules as well. But that was a special moment for a lot of people, just in general, but a lot of people here at Love Wrestling. So I wanted to mention that. Very happy to see him. I know you said you're an avid TNA fan. You like TNA. I mean, Speedball, that is a hell of a get. He is one of the better wrestlers in the world. He should do very well in AEW if they do him right. He should do very well. I love
when good guys get their flowers.
Yes, I agree.
Oh, yeah. I agree. Speaking of which, literally
at the right moment, not later on when they're done or when they're gone. When they're here and they could still be like, his career is just starting now.
You know what I mean? God, yeah.
Like he is only gonna. It's only up from here.
Yeah. What were you gonna say, Pluggo?
I was gonna say, he's getting literally, as we're talking about him. Somebody posted on the post that I made about his debut and said, wow, look at this guy. Oh, yeah, what a joke. And I go, I don't think you know who Speedball Mike Bailey is, my guy, because he is pound for pound. If not, he's one of the best wrestlers on the planet.
Yeah.
And if AEW does right by him in this tournament, I think we're going to be in for, I would love it to be Omega and Speedball. Just give me that. That would be dope. But it's very cool to see. I'm stoked for him. I'm stoked. I'm on a high, man. This week in wrestling was great, and that was another.
And now we have
AEW.
I saw Mike at Bloodsport a few months ago against Josh Alexander in New Jersey.
Incredible.
Roman Reigns is in the chat. What's up, dude? What's up, Roman Reigns?
Your tribal chief, Roman Reigns. What's up, man? And now you said we've already had a great week of wrestling, and now starting tomorrow, technically afternoon, but if you're in the States and don't have a VPN, we'll be watching it last in the world tomorrow night at 8 p.m. But now we have 3 straight weeks of international crowds, European crowds on this road to WrestleMania. Like
starting that way? Is that?
Yeah, tomorrow it's in Barcelona. They're in Barcelona, and then they make their way to Brussels, and then we have 2 full weeks after, so 2.5 weeks, kind of ish. Yeah. But we're getting this road to WrestleMania going right through Europe, where we know the crowds always show up. They're always loud. They're always rowdy. And we've never seen it like this, where they're getting multitude of weeks over weeks, and at least on Netflix, for Netflix everywhere around the world, but at least for us Americans and Netflix, we'll get to Raw is going to be on at 3 in the afternoon or 2 in the afternoon, pending where you live. And
so basically, I get to be crying at 3 in the afternoon watching heel John Cena speak for the first time.
Yes.
Why are you crying so loud?
Exactly.
What's that sound in there? It's John Cena.
Yeah. You think now there are some people, before we leave, we got to get out of here in a few, but there are some people, I know you said that you don't think he's gonna because of the render that on the website and things like that, but there are a lot of people out there that are like, new theme song, new this, new that. So you're thinking no. You're thinking he comes out as the same colorful guy we see, just the attitude and the tone is different.
I think we get a new theme song.
New theme song, though, you think? Okay.
I don't know if you guys saw this on social media. Not mine, but someone put it out, and it's true. March 17th, 2005.
Yeah.
That's when John Cena debuted the Time Is Now theme. Raw is March 17th, 2025.
St. Patrick's Day.
20 years to the day that he debuted that entrance theme. We're going to get a new theme.
That would make
sense. For heel John Cena. That was what started off like that run right before he won the WWE title from JBL.
Do we think Travis Scott can do the theme?
I think there'll be a collaboration.
Okay. Because I'm like, Travis Scott is obviously, he's not going to wrestle, but he's part of this. Yeah. He was part of it. He's going to be part of this group. He's in the t-shirt. Do we think
there's another person added?
I think so.
How did we gloss over the fact that Travis Scott turned heel? He was hanging out with Jey Uso on the debut.
Smoking weed.
Smoking weed. Now he's
breaking Cody's eardrum. I don't know. I'm one of those people that I didn't care that like I know there's a lot of people that are like, why was he that? I didn't care. Like
I love his music. Like but like I don't think he needs to be there in that. Yeah, like he's not. I wouldn't consider him a part of the trio.
Yeah,
you know, that they're saying,
but I'm like, maybe that's what, maybe that, obviously he's a big star. That's why he was there, but it's like, maybe that's another tie-in of it. He did a little bit of the Rock song when the Rock came out. They kind of played a little clip of his, maybe
the Raw theme song.
Yeah. The Raw theme song. So I'm like, maybe
WrestleMania theme song.
Yeah. Maybe they give Cena a collab where him and Cena are rapping together, like on a heel John Cena song or something like that. I don't know, but, it's exciting, man. It's exciting. I think we got 4 or 5 more weeks until Mania. There's a lot of stuff. And the way that the road to WrestleMania officially started, Rumble weekend, and what we've seen since, like, I honestly think we're at a level where things are shaping up, but I feel like Triple H has proven that we don't really know as much as we think we know.
And how many matches have been announced? 3?
I think 3 total. Yeah, maybe 4 most, but I think 3. I think you nailed it with 3. So, and we're probably going to get what you would think, 7 a night, 8 a night. So like we got to wait, 6, 7 a night maybe. So we we got 9 or 10 more matches that we need to officially be announced. And, I think it's going to be an exciting last month before we get to Mania. So,
I think B-Fab beats Charlotte Flair tomorrow night.
I would, if I were a betting man,
Tiffany cost her the match.
Maybe. I would be okay with that because
that would be a good twist in that story.
Yeah, and I've kind of liked what I've seen from B-Fab in the small glimpses that they've shown her. Like, I like the swag. I think she's been good enough in the ring. Yes.
Yep.
I've liked what I've seen from B-Fab. So if they did it that way, where Tiffany, Charlotte can get distracted and lose, and it ain't gonna hurt Charlotte a fucking ounce. You know what I mean? Like, so like that would be fun because I think they might have something with B-Fab. I really do. Like I liked what I've seen so far.
Unique character than what they have on the roster.
Exactly. She's different.
Yeah.
She's different, and it doesn't seem forced. It feels like she's naturally that person, and I think they might have someone there. But all right, Joey, always a pleasure having you, my friend. You're welcome here anytime.
Thank you very much.
You want. Thank you for joining us. Let the people know where they can find you, when you drop your content. Let them know everything so they can go give you some love. Absolutely. Well, first off, thank you guys for reaching out and having me on again. Always love coming on your show, and you guys are like 2 of my favorite to talk to because you guys give such different perspectives, but like it's respectful. Like we talked about last time, like it's you did conversation. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like we didn't yell at each other when you were like, I'm not that big on AEW. I wasn't like, what the hell? You're like, oh, this guy's out of here. Get out of here. Get out of here, idiot. See how it's always a fun time. We're proving it here on Beards that you can have discourse and disagreements and do it in a positive, respectful way. Yeah. Take notes, internet wrestling community. Yes. But what I do like about you guys, not to go on a whole rant here, but like, no, you can. You totally can. Oh, of course. No. So when I met you guys at, I don't know which. I think it was SummerSlam. SummerSlam, yeah. You guys were so cool, and you are who you are. Like who you were there, you are here. You know what I mean? There's some people that you meet and they're like real D-bags, and then they come on camera and they're like, "Hey everyone, hi!" Like, and you're like, "What?"
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So,
I hear you.
Like you guys were like so real and cool and respectful, and just, you know, being in those media rooms, it can get stressful, it can get competitive, it can get all of those negative things that come up. You guys were just class acts, so I appreciate that, and making me feel comfortable there as well.
Yeah,
you know, we're all staying in line waiting for interviews and no one's talking.
Yeah,
and then you guys
we're just like, hey, what's up, man? What's going on?
You guys turn around and start talking to me. And I'm like, these guys are cool.
PLUGGO's running around the room just talking to anybody.
Yeah, that's easy. Like that's how it should be. Like it should be like it should be fun. Like at the end of the day, it's wrestling, and we're there because we love it. You know?
Yeah.
Because I looked at it simply as like, if I never get invited back to this, I'm gonna make these guys.
Yeah,
exactly. But it's an opportunity to to talk to these wrestlers and get your content, but also network and make friends with other people who like wrestling, because we all know that very rare to find friends in wrestling.
Yeah.
You know, so when you're stuck in a room together, you might as well make friends.
Yeah, 100%. Well, we appreciate
definitely appreciate it. Thank you.
Those words. We feel the same about you. Like that was our first time going together to one of these things, and like you know, we felt confident going into that, but we were also nervous. It was our first time meeting each other, him and I as well. But like it was our in person, yes, at SummerSlam was, but like it, you know, we're normal human beings, even though we come off like we're playing it cool, but we're normal. We were nervous, we were game planning, we were talking it through 10 times with each other about what we were going to do. But then you get in that room and you meet someone like you, and you kind of meet the other people that we met, that we've kind of hung around with and kind of formed a bond with, that we saw each other again at the Rumble. Like you see who your people are, and you kind of meet who your people are, and you're like, all right, cool. You know, I might not see them every month at these things because I'm not at a point right now where I can do that. But when I go, if they're there, cool. Like those are the guys that I want to be around and hang out with and like chat with. How was your, and I feel like you said, growing up as a wrestling fan, we were the weird ones, man. Yeah. We were the weird ones, like that.
We're the weird ones.
Yeah, I think it's kind of getting cool again. I think it's kind of getting cool again. Right now. But we were the weird, like, you know what I mean? Like not weird in a bad way, but you know what I mean. Like not everybody understood what we loved, right? Yeah. Not everybody understood. Like we were the ones that liked the odd thing that not everybody likes, right? So when you see people that are like-minded and like this thing, there's an automatic connection to it, because even though there are millions of us throughout the world, not everybody gets it or loves it, or they just don't. And there's so many of us that just spend so much time just yelling at each other about dumb shit that really doesn't fucking matter. Instead, it's just like, okay, like, can't we just rag on each other that we don't agree, instead of like we're all of the very small percentage of people on this planet that like wrestling. Like, why are we constantly, like, it's just cool to meet people where you're like, this is just kind of fun and cool. Like, I'm having a good time.
Yeah. Like growing up, my friends were like, you want to play basketball? You want to play football? I want to play soccer? I'm like, let's go on my trampoline.
Exactly. Yeah. Let me give you a suplex on my trampoline right now.
I was RKOing everybody.
Yeah, let's go. But no, I really appreciate those kind of. We feel the same about you, my friend. So plug.
You were one of the guys. Like when we met you, we were like, we got to get him on. He's got a good vibe.
There was no debate.
He does good stuff. Yeah. So
always love talking wrestling. So I appreciate you guys.
Yeah.
But for everybody watching, you could follow me. Well, first off, if you didn't know, my name is Joey Karni. I host the Angle Podcast. You can find me on all social media platforms at The Angle Joey. I post every day on X, Twitter, every day on Instagram, every day on TikTok. I try to post more than once or twice on YouTube. You can search The Angle Podcast. But really, I just fantasy book. I do interviews. I really do everything in the space. I was just at NXT. WWE invited me over there locally. And I like to cover the shows as well. It's where I met these two gentlemen. So anything wrestling, you could find me somewhere at The Angle Joey.
Love it. Love it.
Before you do that, we, like Tony Storm, we have an open relationship. Would you like to put your co-host firmly over, or are we just gonna...
I think he was talking to Joey, because
I know he was
Joey over earlier.
I appreciate Drew.
There we go. Drew doesn't care if I put him over.
But on that note,
Drew doesn't give a shit if I put him over. He's like, no, I want Joey to put me over. But, anyway.
You got to send a super chat for that. Joey doesn't put people over for free.
Yeah.
We had to pay him for the kind words he just said about us. Yes. But speaking of us, next week, it's the big 200. I have no idea what we're doing. We don't know what we're doing. We'll figure it out. And the only way to stay up to date on what we're doing is you go to @B2Beards on all social media platforms. We'll keep you up to date on all of that. Thursday nights, 8 p.m. As always, it hasn't changed in 3 years. Remember we used to go at 8:30? That was weird. Anyway, you can find me, Pluggo, on all social media platforms. You search Pluggo, my face pops up. I'm over there too. And I said it last week, and damn it, I mean it this week. I'm going to get back to writing. I'm feeling good again. I'm feeling back in my groove. I had a rough couple of weeks, but I'm going to write this way. So it'll be up on Love Wrestling CA this weekend, Pluggo's Top 5. And so do that. Do the damn thing. Saturday evening, for Exposure with Blair Pacheco, we're going to be getting ready for GCW Ashes to Ashes this weekend. We're going to talk some Maple Leaf Pro as well. So you'll want to tune in there to check that out.
Heck yeah. You can find me, JBJ Loves Gaming, on all social media platforms, including Twitch. In about an hour and 50 minutes, MLB The Show 25 comes out, and my life is over.
He's going to stay up for like 18
My life is
and 2K25 WWE.
I do have WWE 2K25. I've been playing that on stream.
Tomorrow.
Yes, the standard edition comes out tonight at midnight as well. I did the pre-order, so I've been playing with that. Very fun game. I know Adam mentioned it before he got out of here. Go read his review. Very, very fun game. Like a very, very fun game. So you can check me over there. Obviously, Pluggo said every Thursday night, 8 p.m., the flagship here with him. Tuesdays and Thursdays, I'll put over Drew a smidge. Tuesdays and Thursdays, 10 a.m., Firmly Love Wrestling. We talk WWE on Tuesdays. We talk AEW on Thursdays with my other fun, great co-host, Drew Nicholas, who's in the chat.
Throw our keys in the bowl here.
Yeah, the hell, man. But that's where you can find us. Again, we want to thank Adam for hopping on at the beginning with us and chopping it up with the four of us talking some Mania. And obviously you, again, Joey, thank you for hanging out the whole time. Just having a great night, hanging out with us. We'll have you on here again very, very soon. For everyone else in the chat, thank you all. Thank you for all the thumbs up and the likes. We appreciate you all. You all know the drill. Say hi to Sue for us, and we'll see you next week for number 200, baby. Till then, peace out.
Hey there, PLUGGO and JPJ. It's Trent's mom, Sue, and I have a bone to pick with you. So, I understand that you guys are being real idiots and spending your entire monthly budget. You've got to be kidding me. This is not the way to be when you're trying to run a business. Your boss, Spencer, is really pissed off at you. I'm pissed off at you. You have some nerve. Get a grip. You have to control yourself. You can't just go out and spend all the money that you're making, you two beards guys. Oh no, this is coming out so stupid. Anyway, behave yourselves, or I'm going to cut you off from watching AEW. You're no longer going to get to know, be able to meet my son. What? Oh, or me. I'm sorry, this is like, I don't know. Anyway, thanks so much for being fans.